NIT 100.9 FM Suni. Na ene Wednesday, July 31, 2024. Time just about gone 12 minutes past 1. Ene wukwada na kutansabu sumi na yewumi nida etosu eduasa baako kutansabu sumi nida twatwa kra amma ekomu de yan ahokyere ba ye suo no onyankropon twedi ampo adawro ma se kutansabu sumi aba betwam ko akase di kogumu odi amawo osumi a akatua ne timi ye tricky amma wani awodi wo muka ebenya wo no ene saa bosumi we sei ai ene saa bosumi we saa bosumi we de bosumi a ekuta special connotations. Hey, July. What do you make of July?
Well, emotional roller coaster.
Emotional roller coaster.
Hey, assembly.
Maje, what do you make of July?
July they say go so onko yo. And then just onko. A more 12 onko. Oh, if you sabri akopem anajo 12.
July. Ya pem.
And no ma
yes, kutawonsa
ya ka ketuwe
di wo mokuta tundra na July omutimi manage normal
okay
tundra ne mu dia na oka
na we say ukuta sab mu ni corona no mo sa no a de July no paso be yes papa
na omo mo fu trotro so
ai troski fu no
anu si na mu ode o
troski ni mu ode
papa
obia ahia asem no na ya hwe ne aka
troski ndi mu ode
July ho ahomete
anya sem keto over
July ho ahomete
eno no so obi de wo ka e se be ma na so an hye ye pa
eti mpanimfo no che se enye bibia enti na omoto ne din se kutansa
wo mu steady months ni
ye
eno mo hu se July we no
that July we no
eno ma wom
o
se no so 5 weeks 5 solid weeks
I know say January no
why no say January
to kuta 5 weeks
and na January yen shede hu ni papa because and no say we free afi that animal will be remu na enti ya na eno no
me na wonya January ya sin July January
say January na be ma ye betua o ka middle of December ye tua ka middle of December na narrative ni say Osika so ye na
I just February
January and Sabenya ubenya ketua
we very real no
6 weeks no emu ya papa
ba na me hu ni say January no say ura afefufuru no ma what because I don't know sabre no one say waje no ma bom enti watotototo no amagie sa wudi ura afefufuru no ma enya ya say July na ya wura mu dada na I don't know ko wani mu no
company ethical company obemu adu birthday December as so obema a bonus and as a double pay in December other companies so they are on your birth month no double na say December no ye ma mienu no a assign da ma udi scanentem
activities
were between December 27 28 29 no na chese wa ho keka no form na dia bufuo no say December so na enkwada bia school 6 January 7 January ya na reminder to pay fees no ta bantem
every now and then a message ni ba phone so sa
and ya shie no grazo bo say na ya de enkwada no bia ne brewa no aka kire wo say hwia enkwada no fees and sana ya bia school and say on the day baby school one so no na uji fees no ahead Ghana nkwa na agi bibia deposit na nkanya sa de a afeni ya bia school and na mini can tua fees no on the first day no abra teacher for say be che nkwada na de no ubetua muka at the end of the month
if you say we say Ghana for ya na ya da suban bi adi e ma na band sa December ya weekend sika enya de ko party ya de ko takrade akoye masquerade akosa adi yani ye beba ye ko sa anko se ye ba nkan na sika na hye enti se ye me ho anjiri sa sika na sa time na o me ye de so mutua teacher for ka na bia na wunya sika na fa metua ye na ada na twema mentwe na especially so oba no class han wo e kan say private school a sika no eno de omo je na no mo de ran school no it's very very important so omo di kan je A very good strategy. Yes, happy. Boka finfinam.
Na adia ya ne agye advance wo ma we mu no. Kese ase ne sen. Unse se hwe principle no. Say akoda be school. Right? Na wo se ontua fees no on the first day of a year be school no. Afenso na wo ba be ko for beer a year 6-7 weeks. Ama wadiako school. The adentina ontua school fees no before say obe enjoy tuition no.
Wabao say yamem na no na emma ahokyere no e wo ba bia so ho. But ye wo aman bi so a ɛhɔ ne de sɛdia ɛno amate no wo dan ka wo nkotua dan no 2 years ɛmfa nkogu ho ansa wakɔ da dan ne mo
no can see
so ho ɛna sɛ ka na obeto a onso asika ngu botom na onfa nkwa nkokoto ka no wɔm de wɔm won hyehyɛ a wɔm bɛyɛ ama wa ade no obetima ayɛ ne kakran obetima tuatua ne kakran because wɔm nim sɛ enipa da sɛ ne yɛnam hɔ no ɛnyɛ easy saa sɛ obekukuru sika prekopa na de ko ba ye ha na system ne sɛ system na kwakɔ ye no ɛno na ɛma da bia no nso no yesu ahokyere more than wamoaka obi ahokyere ne de ba obo sɛ ye ne ye kamu pa because ye system na kwakɔ ye sɛ pesika no kwanse ansa na de no kwa no ye de ama so say the city and it is advance and deposits agege ansa na o sa services kro no kra won sa aka no ɛne na de ahokyere bebre ye bre yen. But it's about time it is say
I didn't know the whole school fees ahead of say akoda de benya tuition no a teacher ni no so untua ne ka
ono so anka
in advance
wofa won say no credit ni ho wofa
oni nya no mami o
me ya no
teacher ni no ono so ade na wuntua ne in advance
na me kire say me word e wo school mu a school na me say wo ye teacher ni wo ho na say wo school bi mu a ye won hyehyeye se bosumi so am kopem ho asema nkotua wo ka mu teacher for metima ka say e cost strike wo business owner no adwuma betimi agu so you wouldn't want to risk it but me am de me baba school no dey say wo ma me tuition no na me si me ntua ka metimi a wo pa ma konda na me pa ma ne ba school wo bio nti wa boka de me chote ase and school no say me makola say ye che akola na de na we ntua school fees no na me pa mo no ma che na de we na we ntua na me pa mo na utimi de no cost school for register no but an institution na your school no say when you teacher for car when teachers ni betimi asore etia I strike am eduma egu until you would not try that until teacher ni dey say time apeso otua no ka ya agreement say bosom so na metua wa no kra ya trust say wo betua but akwala no ba school ni de ya nyi ni say ye kire na de awia sika e wo so ode ma no ode bema until anu nti e na ye wo ana ye pese ye gi school fees no free nkwala ne ho ansana ya kire o ma de anya no Mr. J me say no kra wo ho no kra die ni wo e trimodene
on say no kra wo ka say anywhere no money ade ni nyina ye kind of systems na you operate no so the kind of systems na you operate no indicate say one mo no kra no no ye nim opesle ye nim be kra wo ye adwuma we are not synchronized on a centralized system enti won na je ukoyiska na wo de anantia akosukun but the ye na your system are centralized won no kra no ye nim sadia
no say ya
so me so na ka ekọ
enti anu no ka be different
na ekwa no kra mpo na ka nkoye say we no fine term we usika na bosome akora no ba bedi ebia abosome me aso bedi bia 7 weeks in the bosom ya woman ye sika ya eti na ya ten gradually and okra enti no boom gradually eti wono kra no hu na atetew na nke konti the kind of systems na ye de ye adwuma wa ha no ene na kwakoba na sa wonim say ye kan wo twa te say loans a ye je no banks no money ade ne dia wo kanyon enu nti ena ma loans ni bi wo an bo aye mobile money no money ade say wo kokodi a say nipa ni bi abom tiri po say one de ade no ontua
o sim card be 5
but na ke your systems are regulate anka de okay nyina over na kapa e bia me ba bi o mo school na indicate na ke ko
omode eye credit reference agencies ba o matono din credit scoring no this are credit scoring no eno ane say wo kọ na wo se bank bi ma abosia wo kọ na eye baby aton electrical appliances ni ade o say o mo ma credit e bia eye 12 months na de betua and 24 months na be twa they first call the credit reference agency
no.
and say ohima kwe free we ye adwuma de ema bia despite media aba ha say or person or G credit they secure on bia television set or per HD plus na bia 13,000 cedis 13,000 cedis no so mfan to rent no the better television into oba you know onu oni bi na emumu no oba begin sa credit company no and ono and oye finance house or o tuadiama baby akoto TV no so ahunu eti baby akoto TV no ono uto cash dia ono obi ani asem agye sika na emom no se wo se wo pese wo free a ono be reference dia ma finance house a finance house no to say Ghana leasing money ade na bia omo na ekoto ade ne dia ma eti finance house no so no electronically ebe get in touch with the credit reference agency eti ya di udini famu a obetimi aka in fact there is a gentleman okokoje best point for sika and when tuana okotru abrochire baby 3-4 years and so
Dimrika na ba ebetua
okoji loan e wa abrochire no and say credit reference no call ya ema ko ba say wo ebrebi ukokoje best point for sika 36 months no utua mu say 24 months 12 months na kan udwane ama principal ne interest payments no when tua te ka say ena eda honom eno na ye bo na mane no na che say wo san call for reapplication no so tumrika pebosia ebebe tua best point of worker the best point of work so no raise through the credit reference agency I mean aka say 0000 no tua wie ye no as to whether wakotua
the loan ni be ma
na say yemfa ma enti ade a wo hwe ho so ye enti electronic systems a ye de ade no da bia no ensese uwo sika da ho na emum wo se wo ye credit worthy obi a wo sika da ho bia wo ni sika at obi a betimi attract credit wo betimi awura bank akache bank ne say me pay a loan of say 1 million cedis na bank no they have a setup it will be say wo hwe say be a best point to say to on mo best point betimi am reference on a nipa year adwuma despite media nyina no a free 2000 and so many 10 years so 2014 so no it is the first time I made GCK or best point savings and loans it was February 2014 enti so ko ha one more ne what despite media kwaji loan nyina wo no and no be kwakubusa ho say do was saying and that ho ji loan so no because it was that easy say it is secured against monthly pay say ya dey be fa best point one enti die ne be ma obi a change say afa dey me fa best point bi me fa fa baby foforo so na just say wono aye na dwene say bia on my best point in sanka ne sika na sanka Ghanaian banks no wo mo be ka kire yen bad debts they are so indisciplined with loan repayments bia menim say ya na interest no e was runtio ana say e was sentio ye pesika ye gibusia ye fanko say ye gibusia ye fanko enti say ukwaji say MTN fosika wan fanko ukwaji best point fosika wan fanko a ema cost of borrowing no ekosoro
because risk involved no so
because kanino ukọ say ukwaji sika free best pointer eno ansa ka best point no obe secure ebi sika na abeje no against at the cross ukwa oh me bana maba beji busia o best point nam de akototo nkonwa siesie mi dem eno so obetwero say wo so koto nkonwa at fridge at TV udi ko siesie de no atwero oh wo ye adwuma me ye adwuma ha oh wo guarantee say bosomi so adi sika na beba osean me guarantee say de beba pokwaje letter wa adwuma mu fabra say bosomi so de beba nka within minutes ye de bema but enam yesuma boni a yaji a yentuanti no they will not secure the loan against ebi ajapade na akoto no it is ebi a me se me pesika de akoto boss me pesika de akoto boss ana me pesika e de akoto bia capital investment bia enka tete no enka they will secure security no on the bus na me se me akoto no and then so the there be because of a depreciating value of a dear no wo kwa kotonti no yes loan yɛ de bɛma wa san kɔkɔ fa collateral bi free baby bra hit that to the nan kente sa enti ɛna die enti na Bank of Ghana aka kyɛ banks nso ɔmnyɛ sa ɛyɛ bad debt bosia yɛ gia yɛn fa ma no amanfo gia yɛn tua so enti yɛn develop that habit of yɛgye loan yɛn tua ka
wa ana de woman say wo try say wo betimi develop credit worthiness no wo nipa nkwa wo sign bere because all the risk wo so na egu but do you want to went to no na the baby eti da bia no obi ade oye no sunsu aso bo ne ba wo momo wo pese wo ye papa no pese wo try to develop esan kosoro
because the banks would also have to ensure say omo bad debt
yes one match me clear
omo so timi clear and the Bank of Ghana so supervisory role omo so play no makwa ma bank ni nya bad debt enu nti say young memakwan na manager bi no obi akoye ba akobra beji loan oji loan na with understanding so ontua the bank now writing off pass na ni nyina no e de ohaw e de brain nti uji loan na tua na cost of borrowing enye lower so uji loan na wan tua na bank for no so no omunye innovative kakra omu bank for na no an say Bank of Ghana rate
na what first kra na uji loan na wo insure
I say insurance
no ho etumentiment you say insurance good yes
and to kwaji say insurance for ntua
they say insurance na nya say o kwaji na what was a wuntu ya keke o because their work is you instance and nipa no be we free so nipa no wa incapacitated so it just say bibia and the bad is ana because you insurance for no one year
and na wono wafa insurance company was see insure sa loan ya bedema eye mageri so no na time ba say mageri ontimi ntua no do you know whether bank no wakọ insurance company no ho akọji eye sika wo insure ye no na insurance sponsor ye no muti man we say mu no sa insurance sponsor so no tuba be no mususu timu
ebi nya
so third party loss kura no ubetimi akọ insurance na wakati wase wa limited third party loss no to ebi a 10,000 pe uko say obi ade a ontua more than 10,000 ontua more than 6,000 wo so to ado ma wunim say my insurance mi ko dia nya prasem afi ho na ko say obi ade 100,000 cedis a no bank insurance no atua limitation 10,000 9,000 aka no nipa be pursue edu akokota akwaji usika e ho na wo be hunu say the city enti I was say yen no ye discipline and I want to repeat. Who sika da ho said sika da them a damn pass ya winiska. They must say ubetimi attract loan, ubetimi attract credit, and it's so wiska. Inti edi yawa, edi na hwehwe wuntimi nko e ma bank e farmer war. So no. Mekai you mlebe say no nine na mihia sika 10 times that I'm not best point managing director. One year just constituency chairman of MPP say Mr. Japan. Na Mr. Japan. Mitimi nua ba ya nimu ase. Manimu ye gu ase. I was mitimi mano 10,000 ansana me ho ahare me. Oh sir. Man family sia. So no. Enti o kwa ya o na ya hohoro me hu se fita Psalm 51. Obaka say your first suko chia bi na ma ye se fita. Adua da brada. Ana me ye dan. Me ko ye. Say o ma anyi me enu 10 series kura. And wo mo gye and na chese medum sika akokoma wo mo enti wo pe baabia wo kwa enam so ye credit word enti no ye di sika be ma sa ho kire bi bo akwan mu a mo gye sika mo ntua
and they were friend no one work because say no man no even the business community so obi o ho a ebi kura no wakra no ama ababa be report e ba bedu ya ni sika e da ho no kura no say na unim said your currency you will need additional money e ba ne sa putu one hwe ne ye nso a na demurage ba be chewa no so chewa no so ya asem kwanti e wo ba bi ase wubogura awubura kwa na wo mbetimi ekukuru sika bi a ye fa se bi a be 100,000 no mo dia ma say just so na fa ko you no amane bra e ba ye na so nipa no no amane ya sha se to ya immediately it is okukuru say sika no now sand come as afo no obo say da bia no na just with the green lights so
ofane ya pa
ya wo kan de mu de na ye
de weekend
sa enya
obo modia no so ya diskana ma ko ni ma na fe na asa wo ton ska ba zem kakra usimi go chelo yo
akua wonim eno ne ade a na ade a wo fe ka say
it's discipline
yeah when you discipline won't you wafa ya make me partners bi ya wo kire gidi na said ya no makọ en but ye wo baby a ubowura a utumi say ye call ya oh one bet ma up to 200,000 is because say one ya na what the kwa na ya wo kofa no amade ba ya na said ya no ebia ya wo ton ya no e wadwe say wo sande ko no na you but wo ton na immediately no sande say akrofo ni sika na kwa akoma omo na wo so wanya daje
or ya kano na kini nyina ne say oji akodi brebi kura Ghana say the bibi by different poverty elevation fund poverty elevation fund ne say chesenka ohu akire wo no na baji bibi dia ahwe halfa kusi say ubenya dia akoto de da eno ane so obekọ akọje political party no card ena nkrofo akọje poverty elevation fund no edi ko yi etwo edi ukọ hospital ho a ubonso mu nyina wo mo tworo ena chese ededa ho fa ana ya kese no mu ntimi nsore ena mo de poverty elevation fund eko yi etwo odi ayi etwo na wie edi basic na o generate ya obetimi de poverty elevation fund no akwakotua
eso na esa ka revolving no esa ka revolving esa ka ko esa
our family atwo dem no
atwo ne dey
say yare ba remember balls
won bida ana wate ho asem
mate ho asem
and hu bi say
ehu de me de hu
dem say on say hen ya so ho no na bon say na wo taduane ne wo hwa no
na bom ayaka
I say di boro
oh na mana na fe me demonstrating when I'm not oh mini
so a woman and you know this
what are you talking about
and the woman
mini oh echude minimpa ntino
sa chudo nimpa
wofa lo na nkasa ba wofa
akwaji poverty elevation fund no de koko yine twa ebe den wanyaska akwakotu aka
ngani asem no mu no mo na mfa nche no
ebe banche ni nyina no ni menu nyina sika government can unse say no leap iba ye no empowerment program you know unse ye de ma omo ye below the subsistence level so the communities no o kase sika no ko mra maji no o kase onfa car free na kura Emra district capital emeni lipu no kura na onya kesi ke ode bebento obeka say de enka enti ye wo say ye san ye mani sika no ye san de car ekom community num ebode wuro si ebeba say enti that is the level of ye normal akachi so na most of us ni nya discipline wa kura no obeji wa usika so obeji wa sika opamade no opamade de ma wa na waje 80 cities waje 100 cities madamfo no na wono ji sika ni wie no no asan ba so kawe de ma me poni ba akon na ka so poni de ye de na me de me poni afemo ne ade e de poni ne nyehwe 50 cities kwa benya poni enti de 50 cities kwa koto poni na waje no de akọ so poni no oso poni no afi wo so sa akọ pamatade ebiem atade wangu se ebi na she frima ye ofe frima watade de me fe na watwa star na de asare akọkire wadamfo se pambi mame o se bi na de frima tu ya 30 cities ya pam o se meje 100 cities ne rure kura afisa na man 50 cities ni pa bebre no umo bosia na se man ade a na ne rure fi on reciprocate
wofa unim se Ghana ha se wo pese wo ne wadamfo ya aka bo ne bosia eno anu no wo de bo ne bosia man sika fa sika bi ma ombe wadamfo me kanjo se o na na mesel me pe 50 cities ya ya ade na me be ma osada we wo pese wo ne ya aka fa sa sika no ma no bosia mu so wo pese wo ne
discipline say oji ho bosia ontua okwaji free banker ontua sasuma no di free hene
wofa ya hwehwe ebia na ne mo fa me be bi onyini ye anase bia situation circumstances
no no atisa o
wofa ye doso nipa no bebre nipa bebre no person de betua
omodo enti me wofa me o say unnim na me send this scam na pe ho asem ka kire me say me number no o de no answer me number no me register na mo ka kire me say o number no register na mo ma me first scan to so me de beto so
una force say chinchon ko tu obi ka
na ontua
me de beto so
to ba bonne o so otua
wofa me de beto so amanate
onye nipa bonne
enipa bebre so kwa ahohiahia mu anyo mu
wofa obi anka say zanu nti na me bua wono editi wo sika me de ma we anya bosia na waka za bosia na ka do kwa koye bibi a sika bi ese me de ma It is esikano. Mane konente wo kanu su.
Ebi also na ekom de nipa no.
Wetimi.
Ebi also na ekom pa na ede no.
So excuse say how.
Ekom de no.
Say na say na nke yanko ba bia how. So eso amano no na e wanka nipa de dimirika no akwa akotua. So excuse me say ebi na nipa na ekom de no. Ebi na nipa na say so. Indiscipline dozo. Because you say e be follow excuses. They say na yetimi kwa go yenim. Baba, ya kasi e be follow excuses. Waje momo konna kotua enti sika na wo sika na wo me hon me de to so na atew etewa na je say etete sika no nkaka grade
dey ya no say momo no so wentua date no so na say wentua na de 12 near the 12%
12%
asan ato so
12% no kra no
oh of course na we ya na de beauty so na de beauty so wa fa won take
12% kra no
wa fa won take 12% na de ato so enu so wentua na akọ 15% wentua na akọ nanim why we have 100%?
Ya na Ghana, ya ma, ene ya nananom. Wamutimi ya adia, nika. Ate tobi so timi kokoshe baby na yenka ho asem. Se school for nkwada at the high school level. You technically, be a secondary school level. Na yese Ghana hase, ye Ghana Robotics Competition 2023. Now the robotics and so say science, technology, engineering, and
mathematics, yeah.
And mathematics, STEM. So na school back ye Ghana 2023. Omo e winning, you know. Vine Christian High School. And na omo winning. Na omo winning Ghana. Obi akura nti ho hwe afi ene ba say yenko Pan African Robotics Competition the whole Africa omukokoye no Senegal ahwe nkwada nkitinkitu emi nana no ena wo matimi akọ win and the same Vine Christian High School no ena wo mo de san nkwada nkitu e call Senegal admas ma akọ win na enura awia ena wo mo eba Ghana na sankwada no say robotics no kwento once you call at the higher level no Prempeh College for akọ win the world so no and we so no JSS for so and Fine Christian for so a winning Africa
wa fa enyo no bi na say manfe girls no
manfe girls so win bi na
wo so ekọ win
tima principal of the Vine Christian High School no Mr. Victor Tepte. I've got it right. So we the just what was a Robotepte and I say yaneno entwem komo kakra say what is the new ish about robotics here omutimi a designing a building robots ama omo assigning robots no adwuma robots ne nye na nkwada nkitenkete sa no ngenim senka Japan ene ya pense Korea ena nkada nkitenkete no etimi edi robotics edi dwuma enti Sir Victor Tepte no one year principal and in Nkomo kakra. Principal Tepte, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ADAKABRI.
And principal, what you saying? Yes, sir. Congratulations in order for your awards. One more a winning 2023 Ghana Robotics Competition and go further to win Pan African Robotics Competition.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Need FM online for Ebeshena or more than Quadani pictures. And Quadano ages no average saying.
So age gaps between 11 and 14.
Between 11 and 14. And robotics real in the competition, what is it about?
Okay, my start in GRC, and I want to greet all your listeners. And if you would allow me, I'll try to mix broccoli chicken class now, maintain communicating.
Okay.
The Ghana Robotics Competition, organized by Firefly IO, headed by one wonderful gentleman called George Stafford. And the idea really is to help build team education in Ghana. And the team, a combination of science, technology, engineering, the arts and math. Because as a people and as a continent, it's important that we're able to train AI engineers and computer scientists and people who will build and champion the development of the continent. And so GRC started that initiative. And so that for the very first time, Vine competed at the robotics competition. And basically, that's what it is. The amount of problem is a problem designation. So you're supposed to design your own robot. Actually, your own problem, you have to say engineer the affected mind. It's a very assessment of the problem. Now we design the almost of the problem, right? And so the children have to look at the problem, design a robot to fix the problem. And so last year in August, when we competed in GRC, the team that we took to Senegal this year, just last week really, came out winners of the Ghana robot competition. And the win gave us the opportunity to go to Senegal. My opinion, I say go to Senegal, go and compete at a Pan-African level. In about 14 African countries with over 400 participants in different events. But then, and I also want to add that there was another contingent from Ghana, when the tech league, so it was a similar thing when there is a challenge, you design your robot, to try to fix the problem. And so it's a lot of learning, a lot of teamwork, a lot of problem solving, and that's how we got to this place.
Enti enkwadana omu ewo Vine Christian High School no at the Ghanaian level, national level no problems ben and na solutions are omu timi designing that robot Emma or solve problem no edema enti ya judge omu to be the best among their league in the Ghanaian national competition.
Okay, so a lot of the things I hear at GRC, they were simulations. For example, at GRC, they were supposed to design a bit of robot, a bit Maya to say harvesting. Once a year agriculture, for far too long in the country, we have not been able to advance in terms of technology. At their level, they supposed to design some sample things in simulations where if you are to design a machine, a robot, that can help with harvesting crops. And if they are gathering crops to a location, right? What idea would you have? So they have to design their own thing and do a 3D printing of robots, and over the year, that competition, Obviously, a more level at young people, when these things go and they graduate, by the time they are getting into university and graduating, they can actually build bigger robots, and things that can solve actual problems in our country. And in the area war, GRC, but of course, Senegal, and the challenge was slightly different. And then they were supposed to design robots a bit more one, if they have it's a product, BDF is at another place, within record time, because competition is within timing, so that's how this went.
Enti bibi se ene uko gas stations and now say petrol stations as we popularly call them. Na ubeko no one say a high school graduate and ojina ho and sika hye and obiba so oba beto gas na say petrol no a na akwa pump no na wa fill tank na mano owie na machine say 30 cities, 300 cities. No ajisika no na ekuta omonsam ewo a forecourt one. And we are looking to solve a situation where you bet me a human element na free mu so mu gina highly inflammable material be say petrol nanka yen design say a robot could be serving me on the forecourt. Bibi say and 11 to 14-year-olds one solve such problems amayana.
It's important, and I think you make a very, very, very good point. It's important for us to recognize that as a people, this is where we should start thinking towards. Now, they can start designing solutions like that. But we are sowing the seed for things like that. And see, young school Vine Christian High, the reason why yes, championing robotics as a STEAM education it's that, let us say, by the time I will probably go through young systems, to A level, I'll go to university, or problem solving oriented, so that they have the love for the engineering, for the math, for the technology, aside the art and all. And see, with the now, for example, with the fuel station attendants, AI have come around, machine learning is up around. We need to be able to raise young people and young thinking for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And they can design solutions like that, where AI plays a key role. And see, it's important that you need to be Uber driving or Corolla or Range Rover, whatever you're driving, to a fuel station, and the machine itself does all the business. We use our human risk, if you are. And see, this is the seed we're sowing to these young people. And it's important that for us that maybe even at a national level, we can start thinking about it this way. Let's encourage engineering, let's encourage the sciences, let's encourage the math, so we can start solving actual problems in this country. But let me make you a quick example.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just my opinion. I feel like a lot of the developmental challenges we have in this country are because we have not grown a workforce that is engineering oriented. I don't have an engineering background, but I, as a school leader, as a school head, I see the essence of it. And that's why Young School, Van Christian High, and I want to say thank you to my directors, the McCarthy, Dr. Joseph McCarthy. Say a lot of investment in this area. Now, in Kualano, one of in these areas and have a lot more interest in the engineering sciences.
Mm-hmm. Now, until recently, we were introduced to STEM, which is the science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And then the education minister, added the arts to it to bring it to STEAM. So currently you mentioned STEAM. But then let's find out from you, Principal Victor Tepte of the Christian High School. Is the school funded on STEAM or all-rounder?
Oh, thank you. So primarily, a co-curricular school, and you run it a number of curriculums. Ghanaian GES curriculum, no buying, and then we also run the Cambridge curriculum. So aside all the other subjects we do in business, business studies, economics, science, global perspectives, English, math, science, all in the we as a school, we realize that a lot of schools in this country are not championing the course of engineering or the STEM education. And they end up after school, extracurricular activity. But the point is that if we want to raise a workforce to change our country, we cannot treat engineering, the engineering sciences at that level as an extracurricular. So at Vine, we have to mainstream it. And to mainstream means that then now English, math, and science, or yet robotics and coding also as a subject. And see, any extracurricular, I can say, at Vine Christian High School, coding and robotics is compulsory because we want all our children to have that understanding. And I think what the education ministry did is an excellent one, where at least as a people, you would need to encourage and push, the art as well as the engineering sciences. And I'm also very impressed with the new school that's established, the STEM school. So this is what we do. It's the regular subject, but embedding way into our day-to-day curriculum as it's a mainstream thing and not an extracurricular program at all in our school.
Mm-hmm. Before you go, Principal Victor Tepte of the Vine Christian High School.
Yes.
Education Minister, State of Education, and NRA, incidentally, Dan Wasson and Kwadesu Free Senegal, Abbey. Okasa, is brought to our attention, say, ye be see more STEM schools. Na
Alright.
afei nso so no coding any robotics so yachre nkwadaa no. So is it a case of say Vine Christian High School no might take a step ahead of what the education ministry, as per the education minister, intended directing the Ghanaian education towards her now?
I can boldly say yes. I think it all comes down to leadership. Seeing where the world is going and aligning your policies to go that direction. But for me, it is better late than never. To be honest, me and see education is a seat there. And on the back of this, look up with you to do exactly what he said. But I think it's an excellent point that our education ministry is thinking in that direction now, like I said. Now, young champion cause, at every level of our education. But I also want to just add up to say that it's a program that requires a lot of intentionality in terms of funding, the labor force, raising manpower to teach that. Because we will not ask any teacher at all to go into the class to go and teach robotics and coding when they don't have the background in that. And so if we can raise a workforce, that can also help in training that, and we provide the resources we need. You see, as a private school, we have the privilege of having, the support of parents in running this program. But we are only a microcosm of what could be a bigger, more effective initiative nationwide. And some of us are available to help to advise on policy in that direction at national level. Now, young fancy classroom, everybody, I grew up in assignment, me new assignment, and I call class of schools needy. I bear me that let's call the former school assignment number 1 JSS. I mean, in Kolani 8, they are playing with robots. Aside from Mutianga and not integrated science, and now waiting to it's part of the training for them. And by the time they are 14, 16, they are thinking for what career path they want to choose for themselves. And very clear. So I think it's a very good step that the government is taking, and we should commend them for it.
So finally, Enura Mihun pictures here awaiting the arrival of the children from Senegal. Now, I was particularly enthused about the children were draped in the Ghanaian flag and then also had the kente muffler. And I was like, wow. I started able to Ghana on the map. So I sent it over to the education minister and then requested the education minister to find time, let's come visit Vine Christian High School. I'm awaiting a data or the mommy say Yabeba Vine Christian High School now Yababa Mustem, or I will put it more correctly as you said, the STEAM. What are we likely to see if I'm able to bring up the education minister around to your school?
Okay, so by the way, I want to say that if the minister is able to make time out of his busy schedule to visit us. The mobile started robotics program, no, you'll be surprised. Less than 3 years ago. And Nyamiado, we've been trying to push and invest in the resources. So we have the robotics lab now, and we're gradually, year on year, adding on to the kits we need to train them in how to manipulate the robot. So when you come there, you would see, outside all our classrooms, we have about 2 different computer labs, but we also have a lab for robotics for the school. So that aside the regular programming what they do on their computers, they can actually also learn to play with the robot. So you get to see wonderful facilities, our science labs, our robotics lab, our computer lab, and the wonderful classrooms we have in our school.
I've just received a notification that the kids may be on vacation. It may be possibly be a September, so be a school, and be a fine because probably he may want to be teaching the children when he visits them in the be a school. And because right. So principal of Vine Christian High School, Mr. Victor Tekte, and we are proud of the Ghanaian children who managed to be first in Ghana and then first in Africa on robotics. Yadamasipa.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Akuya, share picture see. Na tell me about what you think. Say 11 to 14-year-olds na omutimi winning robotics championship e Ghana ha. Na omutimi sanko Africa wide. Na omsanko just isn't it?
Me just say no, the Ghana flag as show it makes me feel so proud.
11 to 14-year-olds. Na nye football huntina. Ye nyina ye boje so. Name science, technology, engineering, arts and maths. Na edoma kodu akwa.
Ade so mati. Any science. Ye dwane ho do so pa. Nipa bebre ya science ne maths. Omantimi enya foundation ni ye.
Na yo aye say wo di nkomo bi ba bia se na dwene ya. Osuo maths na ye kana.
Enti no say ye hwe say ne math ne science no enkanka ma no bebre no na yi ye hwe ho a na ye hwe education system ni sisi ana I think say ebeboa pa ni jesem
but say at age 11 up to 14 now you are engaging a Pan-African wide competition and you become you are judged the best. Mami sending pictures in my free man in
it's beautiful. We are proud of them.
Whether we can get
because they are better Japan phone call and China phone call na omo ye me ti say na every day they be ni po na se bia uze nkwala no e bia nsu atono mu damad ni mu swim na omo dey compare say the Ghana ni akola de oye na he the Japan
Bako de edin de say Ghana so you would name so how
Ofamia ho
Alexine Saiba Amwako Mensa we can ibo and I just say the Alexine Saiba na ka ho ama no so and na ono yoba Alexine Saiba Amwako Mensa and na Zachary Opoku and na Joshua Sunkwa Mills there lawyer kesi bi pa de Sunkwa Mills yes. And then Joshua Caleb Dazi. I would say, and the fancies are there. And Joshua Caleb Dazi. Just say, I love the name. But I'm so bad. It didn't there. Alexin Saber. Alexin Saber. Na fini aba a akandino a mafono amwako mensa. Okay, all right. And then Zachary Upuku, Joshua Sunkwamios, Joshua Caleb Dazi. Not just oh my idea, papa.
My idea. We congratulate them.
Now we know about say ya. Ubusa say is a school no na I enroll omo na omo akọ na omo bedru ye kura no. When the share omo Ghanaian Education Ministry for share omo ana.
Sanka yetimi bisa eye principal mo. We were supposed to ask Sanka yetimi bisa na ye hu because it is something I also yetimi boasty about really what I easy things like this no a lot of people on say no art no cry no dey e no dey obi ya na obi adwane akosha art
humanities
yes but obi no man ka to me who say with a little push no anka science area and mathematics area nko betimi ayden ayade no it's ebeboa
the education minister or can say you build the more STEM schools, no? Na afia kwasha say private schools na.
There's also 12 quite in section 12 schools, yeah.
And we are public schools,
public, yeah.
And it's a private for na shas yes one more call no. Na beka kacha say oba anko STEM na just wakemu na.
Oh, for wakemu na say you say you are still koya. Na so oba anko STEM what for wakemu. And I am glad say public schools no introduce into waka say uya akwala na say ho na we interest wa u choose school no wa fa STEM school na wo ko the only problem is nka yen hwe no mo fa bimbra basic level no bohu nti say won say we mo basic GSS for ntinka if you primary upper primary ya eba no unya foundation na say u choose STEM school na at least unim bibi kakra fa ho nti no we mo GSS nti no ko SHS no ko STEM school na me call ebia public school and na me school na STEM no difference bebem
because I want
difference bebem
akuya during the tenure of Dr. Hilal Leman 79 to 81 and no plan Ghana a German coach maker Uba Ghana say and once the chassis ni bar na ono wa build coach works no e the see engine so otherwise the chassis no na or the na University of Science and Technology for also e build boafo and says atam RT Briscoe na omo build boafo na wo hwe time a Korea for a chas yes say womo cost term na say no plan a building ya no plan woni hobiem where coach maker yam build engine bia wa ha nenne Korea etimi build Hyundai Daewoo
Hyundai no de minim no Hyundai no na o kansa no de me imagine ya me say Hyundai no and na ye boni ye say Hyundai no okay
Hyundai
okay Hyundai
and also
I mean be say na me I'm following Hyundai ayo
and Daewoo
you can there san ye bono
and a Kia they say easier to get to so she said Kia sata mo sha ase na as a designs and car ba na ye muka no car ba na ye muka no and no the designs sa and ne so wo hwe Kia what perfect engine making so no na as a gearbox issue no ma kwa to patent be free Germany no ma to patent be free bia Italy afi no of gearbox so more perfect gearbox no more perfect gearbox no because so the German car makers BMW and your friend say Mercedes in fact BMW 10 years older than Mercedes. So no as so say Mercedes is dumb and a BMW so yetenam
Mercedes ni dem
and
a BM no yetenem as about ko enim chen
exactly BM ni 1916 and was shot and Mercedes no 1926 and was shot as so this year na BM no yetenem and a Mercedes yedem so it happens a gearbox system I found a Korean see no more ya yes and that's a Kia si ho Hyundai si wonom say Santa Fe say Veracruz say Sportage there's a share cars or more yen say and that's see a China for no so den abemu the China for no so ebemu no almost so say that hunu your friend saying U-turn na ese na ntwie ka U-turn engine gra obi abetenka hwenne U-turn baby wadru so hunu U-turn hwe baby and then wadru utimi ye electronic engines with the Z-Tech gearbox U-turn dey see one me hwese omudi friends zonton ene hijack e de etwatwa so e de amayen so you are asking yourself say Sanka 1979 to 81 no sanka ye hwe emma sa adie we say ebo ndin sen ye hwe ma no plan adwuma you can imagine
sustainability eba anka ne yakoye ni mu pa aso ne no plan na agu no agu and amrante na yakoye adwuma ko gain skill e wo no plan nyina wo ma atu ahwete ebi wo wa de tutu kwan ebi mu kra de tutu kwan ye adwuma ma
da ebi so aba say obi de say udru utwam fumaswa na udru aprade junction aprade junction won no hwe left won na no plan for boys no o ma beje asase o incidental o ma beje asase free no plan drivers union for and now woman na rebuild VIP buses ni nyina challenges e wo hu nyina no sa no plan for no na e fa no so wo IPT e wo so ebu a wo so ye enti hwe se sa skill no company na gu broni no uhune hefa and sa Ghana for ya omunya skill no and omude ye adwuma ti sanke ye toa so dedicated concrete effort and can the Korean for and the China for come to ye
wo fan kanyo mutipa ni ye kra yeah in fact na mobo I don't know say me blame Africa or say me blame Ghana it's pathetic mobo say nyama when nyama we mu die
yankin ka messages kakra why ni ba kwa on Facebook and was I say of ADAKABRI STEM has already been introduced in our public schools. Bosomtwe is an example. So no. And or the Bosomtwe dia no a secondary level. We mun kwala we aye komode no a GSS level. That is the lower and upper primary level. No so it is a shall introduce system in the lower and upper primary. You are asking yourself, say, Ediana ABC, Mike Perry, Osiwafa. I would not vote for Baumia because he's not a man of himself. I'm giving it to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. A baby ordinary. We munina diasem. Widely known as Mr. Abbas, inside out she says, Mr. ADAKABRI, good afternoon. This corrupt MPP government has nothing good to offer Ghanaians. Only here no. Step na ye can you more.
We did first message about medical because say ne cover
miasem. Osaber mama Fukoi or say it's only Mahama and the NDC that have problem with the educational curriculum. Just imagine the introduction of STEM education was long ago. You just imagine what ADAKABRI NDC there tiwinkwa and on so or the ebaye. Comments up pillar 2. Or say all eligible voters who have not yet registered to take this opportunity to ensure they are registered and vote boom for Dr. Baumia and Odebaye. Emmanuel Amankwa. Or say after the embarrassing defeat at the appeal court in the ambulance trial, Godfrey Dami won't concede defeat, but rather throw his supposed weight about waxing a poetic in a full offensive against the judges who humbled him. AG, who's supposed to be the leader of the bar, descended into the vitriol, invoking vituperation and labeling the court. And Odebaye. Pabentum was the one city Kaswa. Ghanaians are gearing up for the upcoming election because JM is the only one they want to vote for. And Odebaye was about Miawo and nothing will, about Miawo and nothing will happen in Ghana. Likewise, if Mahama should win. And Ubiko Khan also to the other. Pabentum now says, man. Ha 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 ha. And Ode Ebaye. Na Kwabnadum so ADAKABRI. I think the 2 judges in the Ato Forsen's case need to be investigated. They might have taken some. Come on. Na enuko ya kan wasem. Yanka do mo pe ma wo mo. Eno anom so mo pe. Omo so stem no a ye di besua de na kreti bibi ne ye de aboye bra no omo so mo mpe. Omo so mo pe eye NDC MPP. Hwan politics no mo pe. Enti ebehwe na yanka politics no emfa emma wo mo na afi yenhwe eye sadia ade no esi afa ede akọ kusuneti enit 100.9 FM na yentie de won so no wode ebebre yen enti oyini bakwaku amako na o say offer the education minister show what he used his $1 million per constituency to establish a basic STEM school. You can verify from your reporter who was there. And Ode Ebaye. Right. Yanko na yane one of the lawyers miensa ejiremuma the minority leader case Ato Forsen PhD. Yane no enkwatwe nkomo. There were 3 lawyers. Dominic Ayeni, Dr. Aziz Bamba Babsit, I can't get that name right. And then Edujita Maklo, lawyer near was I a pesama Musa Akrade. We are Meboni Mura Bidi Amanopa. Yamunkame, that me say Mebo Mura Bidi Ama Edujita Maklo. Tamanuko Skunum. Magnus Watch also offer. In fact, this coming election is going to be for our children. Edujita Maklo Esquire, Yamuaha. Yo. Yo, yana wajina ye dia na words are so important na yehun de beye. At this stage, are we able to congratulate the legal team of the minority leader, Kesa Ato Forsen PhD, on the occasion of the Court of Appeal, won by 2-1 majority, etimi acquitted no a discharging yana?
I think it's in order.
Notwithstanding the notice of intention to appeal by the Attorney General.
The AG may wake up tomorrow with a change of heart. What about that?
Mr. Momu say alternative line no dia frewa because wet near so faithful say I was say
better.
Yes, it's better. It's better. It's better. It's better.
Is it better?
Yes, it's better now. So let's continue.
Perfect.
Okay. Enti edien ena esi ye at the lower court, in this instance the high court, of which are na at case atoforsen any legal team na money enye ho a, in the first instance you would have to appeal at the lower court level. Na ye peneso ananka ye twa no ho ya mpeneso ananka emu de akomonim edien ne si ye ntia ene dia na mo ye ntia apede na osamko court of appeal.
Senior, macho omre.
Ya wabrepa.
Omre.
Ya wabrepa.
Me say me know and yes travel through time. Into the Ecobai and around somewhere November 2017. I think just about the time when, if I'm not mistaken, the 2018 budget was read or something. In a invitation through the Speaker of Parliament, Michael Quay, we are needed by Yoko, and that they were investigating some ambulance matter, and that the complainant was the Ministry of Health. Inti Mekai, this as you rightly pointed out, me any the Honorable Dr. Dominic Akrotiga Yening, me senior in Chambers, any your client, the Honorable Peter Latopose, Echo Yoko. Emra Yeko Yoko, Yeko Shia, the Deputy Director of Yoko, Nana Enchi, and a opera investigator, and a Otuto Honorable Atoforsen Abon. Interior, Ocasio, is that all? And I said, well, that's the only role we played in the transaction. Two things. In our Honorable Atoforsen, in this transaction. On the 7th of August, 2014, Otro Krata, Ekoma, BOG, on behalf of his minister, copied his minister, copied the Minister of Health in the letter. The BOG and setting up letters of credit for the ambulances. Into Otro Sakratano, and now that's on the 7th. So on the 12th of August, now Otro, so the Bank of Ghana is.
Hello. Quite unfortunately, lawyer Eduji, ye lose no, na besan reason back onto the line. Na ye din komo, efa the SCA daily graphic, or the abo any mo pampen, or say Atoforsen, Jakpa, freed, AG to appeal, and some about say, minority leader. Case Atoforsen Wama Omano Aboka to the tune of 2.37 million euros. Na enunti yedini jina emrano na saa semno na akọ emma at the high court omano ebu anasem say yewie no na eba say Atoforsen wone eye nipa na nkomo ya miensa but ba akọ de ne yare enti no ye ni si nchen na mienu na kaaye no de odi kan ne de otoso miensa de otoso mienu no de yi na si nchen because the yare ne ho no menti enti ba se wo mo emra na ye metie wo mo so anu disem ena se de emra ne mo kwan no mo esre so se enya de a omo asem bia bua esprit se utie de oman Ghana kaaye no a Attorney General Nakano. na just my Ghana anka asem bia e kire se wo mu omudi fo e wo bibi mu enti no mu susu se emra bia ni wa amuaye bia ni wo mu de ba yatimi arezi lawyer Edigi Tamaklo back onto the line na ogusu e kire yen de akoso a o mako yuoko na yabusa se we asem no eni na omu edi muaye ba no eno na lawyer Edigi na o kire yimu law enti ade yuoko encounter no ena na ogusu kire yimu
Nti yako share the deputy executive director. Nti ewie no can send there yemfa the police form. One of the police form form ya obecho statement ato so. Nti yemfa nkofi na yentro yinu masem. Na yemfa mra back. Nti yetu sana mo. Ni yede kowe. And the honorable to force and on the new system, the role he played. And I may call the whole of Parliament, and I may call and I may send it back. Senior, from November 2017, when we say you could for unfair bill until on the 25th November 2021, that's 4 years after. And I'm almost fed. Now remember, I said on the 19th of November, Ken Oforiatta read the budget for 2022. And it's in that budget that they introduced e-levy. So immediately after the budget was read, Honorable Ato Forson rose up and said, then as ranking, and said the minority were opposed to the introduction of e-levy. That 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, in a Yoko, a chro krata, a ma. You could say, and you could talk at another speaker, say, they want honorable Ato Forson. So on that basis, we went back to Yoko. It's Speaker Cracker to Yoko for normal bra in the conference room in the call. And you do one or two. They have the instruction to charge honorable Ato Forson. So they now want to take, one would say, you have a caution statement and then you have a charge statement. And so now they want is a charge statement from him. So on 22nd December, now I'm going to prepare a charge sheet. Now I'm going to call court. January near call for the arraignment. Every year apply for bail. And I court me a man bill.
Let's see, I say, Kakre be mine. Tama, Yaman bill, no, na Yababaka. At the Pacia Tiasamana see here. In March 2017,
November.
Nanim de Mebabaka. Tamben Yamano, a year caution or true caution statement, no.
Or caution statement, November 2017.
Na November 2017, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In November 2017, now true caution statement, no. Is there one difference between a caution statement and a charge statement? In the caution statement, no crano, he wasn't kept in the presence of Yoko. Tell on Kro. Ya the man se fa kofie na wan kasa kokotro ne san fabra. It na je say enya ade a na ya ade wanwan bi se prosifu asemasie na ya de wan kasa statement ama krata ama se kofie na kokoda ne so da ye se do peso se twro no bia na twro na san fabra yen.
Usually obi anya ne sa you write everything.
Yes.
You need to have a witness. the FN independent witness and everything. This
Na-
kind of
na ka tworo kura wie a na the need arise see be ma bail bia na je se oto nsa frɛ nipa ma ye be ma bail
authority and I say police recognizance or something or bill or
we dey say fa kofie na kwatworo fa bra
almost in fan coffee.
na eba ni adie na wo si esi ye 4 years later no at the Ghanaian parliament adie na esi ya ufri se eno edimu tintiman se yebetumi akasa fe de akwai yen charge no
On the 19th November 2021, I bind the budget by. In that budget, in a buy announces say, we place a tax on your Momo transaction. Ecobasa, the then ranking on finance, at to forcing. Sorry, TIS. Nowhere in the world is Momo transaction tax. And the minority are opposed to that. In ADAKABRI, that was 19, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th.
6 days later.
In a Yoko, actual crata, a mass speaker, say speaker, and release it up to, and that they want to have a meeting with him. Again, me, and I made no call. It is speaker Kazi Yoko for Nombra, in the conference room. And Yoko, 2 officials from Mobile. Now, no, after Incommodania Council, we want to rely on our previous statement. What is it? In the council, when they say, either they should give us the statement we gave them previously. It's almost as if almost 10 minutes. In an investigator, a friend back said, we are receiving instruction from the Attorney General office. Say, as you say, on taking the caution, the charge statement today, like that day now. So I became alarmed. And now, investigator name his number. We name Honorable Atopos. Into me na offer me. And I'm a friend. So they are saying that they want the charge statement here and there. Oh, yeah, the parliamentary duty. Until later, I had to speak to the investigators back and forth. And then they were also insisting, say, it's like there's pressure from above on them to take the charge statement. Bottom line, we offered the charge statement 22nd December, and now Omokuchi they filed the charges at the High Court, the Criminal Division. Into your court, Omokuchi court January. Into your court January, and now reading out the charges, 2 counts, and now Honorable Atopos can say it's not guilty. And so can say it's not guilty. We have to apply for bail. But if they apply for bail, don't a judge no council or your MP on depositing the passport and on his self-recognizance. And the airport court, a PFE court one. So we deposit the passport at the registry in the signing in the court. Later, now courts will make orders. So prosecution witnesses are file witness statement. And the attorney general can too. Friendly part 5.
Your line so my me unclear bibi ansana wa deposit the passport ni abeto aso e de free ho. We say at the time Yoko a tro letter at the Ebre Speaker of Parliament na speaker ema omu eno mu hia ye mo so so maka biribi awie ɛhɔ na ɔmatu atene ɛna call ɛsa bɛba phone so say attorney general say afei wo de office no so
on taking the charge statement
attorney general say on taking the charge but I don't person ye clear say emphasis no o twen attorney general ɛna kyerɛ wo de office no so a dear partner person is it instructions from the attorney general's office or is this instructions from the attorney general at the time no the office okay
because onipano HM who are placing the call to him. I don't want to mention the person.
Okay. No. And on hindsight, clear kakra bi man say day-to-day routine as to the course of legal matter, you know. A attorney general and actually you go day-to-day how they should handle a legal matter.
I'm not aware about that.
Okay. Now, yaba aba bedru say in January 2022 and after the yako quarter ya granting a bill now on deposit and deposited in the passport. Tell us more about that.
Until court no a grantee a bill and a court no can say after the bill make it the order say attorney general on filing a witness statement of the witnesses are audio mobile. The attorney general filed a witness statement for 5 witnesses, 5 prosecution witnesses, someone from ambulance service, someone from Bank of Ghana, the Minister of Health, Ajima Mensa. Is it Menu?
Ajima Menu.
Good. One Ajumaze, the investigator, and all 5. The first witness thereby a Unipana of the National Ambulance Service. And he started the cross examination. Almost someone from the Bank of Ghana, Marquis, nominated a buyer. And a quick wajima, and a buyer. Then one Ejumaze, and so by then the investigator. Now, cross examination of all of them. And based on the charge of Mudiabo Honorable Ato Forsen, we believe we have no case to answer. So we indicated that to the judge that we want to make a submission of no case. No sure. It's a statutory right. So we should go ahead. Normal date to come, so she will deliver her ruling. Dana Oman way, and now also a kind the submission and the attorney general's submission. And in her considered view, we have a case to answer. And that a prima facie case has been made against her. So immediately our ruling, they mounted an appeal against that ruling. Majority. Good. Into that appeal, and our court decided yesterday at ADAKABRI. Now, Mr. We cry a copy of the judgment. The person kind and your man may look and sabi. But all of
because you your papa.
Okay. And Kebe me the pass a copy. Yanko page 25.
Run through for us.
This is what court know. Or say, I note that Mr. Marquis, in particular, said in his evidence, for whatever reason, that the first appellant instructed the Bank of Ghana to establish an LC in favor of Big C. on the 7th of August 2014. At trial, he was challenged on the use of the word instructed. And in my opinion, he chose to equivocate on it instead of accepting it. In my view, this was unnecessary posturing because the first appellant did not use the word instruct, but rather requested in the letter he wrote. Senior, the second prosecution witness, Marco Oyejuma Bank of Ghana, of filing a witness statement. In paragraph 8 of his witness statement, or can say, Tio, Honorable Ato Forson instructed Bank of Ghana to establish the LC.
When in fact at the court, no, it became requested.
Can you imagine? Obiazo Nim say, legally, when you instruct, it means a command, an order, an authority. When you request, it means that you give the person you are requesting to conduct a said activity the option to refuse if he considers it so. Now, the person who did the establishment of the LC is this Mr. Marquis. So, for very mischievous reasons, he included the word instruct, that is what Honorable Ato Forson did. So, we showed him Exhibit A. A year Kratana Ato Forson on the 7th of August. Say, official Kratano, not on chair court, where in the Kratana Ato Forson can say, I'm instructing you to establish an LC. On one share, Yanos you, why you mistake? Na there was a request and not instruct. ADAKABRI. He knew the import of both.
That is the credibility of Mark Wayne as Siano, moodily with him.
Obviously, the word used was request and not instruct. Now, ADAKABRI you make paragraph 66 of the judgment. Or say, Mr. Marquis told the court that the letter of August 7, 2014 was on the letterhead of the Ministry of Finance and was signed on behalf of the minister. Mr. Marquis also stated that the LC is not a payment, but a guarantee. This is what transpired on the 7th of June, 2022, when you were cross-examined by Dr. Bamba. Now listen to the question. So you would agree with me from the explanation of the letters of credit that a letter of credit in itself is not payment, would you not? Answer, yes, my lord. But the letters of credit guarantee payment. Question. A letter of credit guarantees payment subject to certain conditions being met. Is that correct? Answer, yes, my lady. It therefore follows that if the conditions under the letters of credit have not been met, then payment will not be made. Correct? Then he said, no, my lady. It is only when the conditions are met that the payment will be made.
That is his response.
That was his response. That was his response. The prosecution witness. Meanwhile, the Honorable Ato Forson, beyond the request, was never involved again. So if an LC is not a payment by a guarantee, on what basis are you prosecuting him?
Tell us the bit that Ato Forson said, sir, he was acting under the lawful instruction of the minister.
I'm coming. ADAKABRI, so unless they be a home
We were just about 15 minutes to go.
Give me 10 of that.
Okay.
So that I will conclude. Then, listen, my lords, the evidence also establishes that the witness told the court that the first appellant was not the applicant for the LCs, but the Ministry of Health was. Again, this is what transpired when Mr. Markwe was further cross-examined after counsel tendered a document Exhibit 1 for A1. Now listen to the question. Take a look at Exhibit 1 for A1. It has a column for applicant, does it not? Answer, yes, my lady. Question. The applicant herein refers to the entity applying for the letters of credit, does it not? Answer, yes, my lady. And on Exhibit 1 for A1, the applicant is stated as the Ministry of Health. Is that not correct? Answer, yes, my lady. ADAKABRI. ADAKABRI. It's on the basis of this that the person was called to open his defense. So, imagine. Now listen again.
E.T.
When the cross-examination continued, the following evidence was further elicited. Now listen. Who signed Exhibit 1 for A1? Answer. It was signed by the Controller and Accountant General and the Deputy Controller and Accountant General. Question. So you agree with me that A1 was not the applicant in Exhibit 1 for A1? Now listen to the witness. I did not get the question very clearly. Question. The question is that A1, Honorable Dr. Kwesilato Forsen, is not the applicant indicated on Exhibit 1 for A1. Is that not so? Now listen. No, my lady. Honorable Ato Forsen is not the applicant on Exhibit 1 for A1. ADAKABRI. Senior. Now, let's go to Kweku Ajimamenu. Senior. Oh.
You have the away Markwe of the Bank of Ghana, Ajimamenu.
We are done with him.
There was say case na mo another team na mo ya better.
It
was with you.
Paragraph 70. Kweku Ajimamenu also testified that the letters of credit of August 7 and August 12 by the first appellant to request for LC, and note that he initially said the LC was requested without the notice of the Ministry of Health. Now listen. But when he was confronted later about it under cross-examination, he accepted that his initial position was wrong. Kweku Ajimamenu also said it is not payment but a guarantee. Again, listen to what happened in the cross-examination. You have also served as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct. So you have quite a working knowledge of how LCs operate. Is that correct? Answer, yes, I do. Are you aware, you know, that LCs are not payment in themselves, but are guarantees of promise of payment subject to certain conditions being met? Is that not so? Guess the answer. That is so. That is so.
The guarantee. Now, certain conditions have to be met beforehand. And watch this a sunny, you know. And the DNS.
So now listen. Of course, if those conditions are not met, then payment should not be made under the LC. Is that not correct? Now listen to his answer. That is the case. That is the case. So now, Ajimamenu also told the court that if an LC has not been established, payment cannot be authorized. He also said that even though the letter requesting for LC is the primary document, the Bank of Ghana will not be able to establish an LC with that letter. So Ajimamenu Ankasa under cross examination can say, at all force in letter now or for Bank of Ghana alone is not enough to set up an LC.
And as Ajimamenu is a prosecution witness.
Yes. Third prosecution witness. Now, the court of cry. Firstly, the very clear, unequivocal answers are that an LC was not a payment by a guarantee. Mr. Ajimamenu later gave a different answer on August 30th, 2022, when he said that per the terms of the contract, payment should be done by an LC. Therefore, a request for LC to be established meant requesting for payment to be made. My Lord, now listen to the Court of Appeal. My Lord, due to the inconsistency in the record of the evidence of Mr. Kuku Ajimamenu, I consider his later answer as unreliable, and I place no weight on it.
Judge, I can say.
Mechanical.
Such as a minister can't some na judge in a way.
And also,
And that na wakanta makasam na judge no just were you to actually na and ya deal with me.
Or say, my Lord, due to the inconsistency in the record of the evidence of Mr. Ajimamenu, I consider his later evidence as unreliable. And I place no weight on it.
Cynthia, or say any reliable, no to me place weight on it. No, and what you much at the current won't mean for the range anymore.
Inconsistency. Inconsistency. Not yet. The court no kind. Or say, after referring to the essential elements of the offense, however, the learned trial judge did not provide reason for concluding that a prima facie case has been made against the first appellant based on the elements of the offense she set out. To that extent, it is my view that there's no evidence from the record that reveals a critical connection between the facts, the law, and the conclusion reached. Senior, the conclusion of the trial judge that persons against whom the charges have been made late would have a prima facie case to answer is, with respect, inherently ambiguous. Now, paragraph we or say, I am of the opinion that the evidence does not show that by authorizing the letters of August 7 and August 12, the appellant caused financial laws to the state or misapplied the property of the state. Now, carefully, there is no evidence that the loss was occasioned as a result of an omission by the first appellant in altering the letters, or that he intended to cause loss to the state, or he foresaw the loss as virtually certain and took unreasonable risk of it. There is also no evidence that the first appellant foresaw the loss as a probable cause of his act and took unreasonable risk of it. Also, from the record, there is no evidence to show that if he had used reasonable caution and observation, it would have appeared to him that his action would probably cause or contribute to cause the loss to the state. Based on the record of appeal, I am of the respective opinion that there is a lack of logical connection. Or say, there is a lack of logical connection between the evidence and the finding of the court that a prima facie case has been established. Now, further, the evidence shows that the first appellant was not the applicant. Already Marquis has said that. Okay. The evidence shows that the first applicant was not the applicant, but rather the Ministry of Health, on whose behalf the request was made. To that extent, it is difficult to accept the prosecution's submission that by requesting the issuance of the LC, the appellant was reckless because he did not comply with the terms of the contract, which, with respect, his ministry was not a party to. To my mind.
2 minutes, ma aye musao. At the time, high court level, mu indicate is you have no case to answer. Is it a case that the judge set a statutory requirement into mobile me aye? At the end of the day, no more year, you know, at the high court level, no, a bar say or say you have a case to answer. Did you appeal at the high court level? Say, on reconsider the earlier judgment, no, nah.
No, the rules do not permit that. You have to appeal to the next highest level.
Right. On the point of law, Anna.
On fact. So,
On fact.
okay, grounds of appeal now, we indicated, say, the ruling is unreasonable having regards to the evidence on record. Now, you see, in a criminal appeal, in a civil appeal, what you see is the decision does not accord with the evidence on record. So usually when you do that, the Court of Appeal is now placed in the position of the trial judge to re-evaluate the entire record.
Okay.
As though they are sitting as the trial judge.
When they conclude, say, the trial judge made an error. Na he find an error, no, or more demonstrators and they
Both law and fact. And this is where the law comes in. But so that I can proceed.
And because minimum tinampe say we honey free one no ya says notice of intention to appeal at the Supreme Court by the Attorney General no nanka majo comment kakra bi ho.
So you are basically playing in the same. But there's a very significant matter I want to read.
Okay.
My lords, the above captured the heart of the evidence that the first appellant could not on his own request the establishment of the LC without the knowledge and authorization of the substantive minister, Mr. Tepe. My lords, this court had previously held that when a person signs a document on another person's behalf, the person who signs does not take responsibility for the content of it, but rather the author. That is the person on whose behalf another person signs. Check the case of Samuel Abuaji and Frank Ochebe. Guess who delivered the judgment of Samuel Abuaji versus Frank Ochebe?
Tell us.
Yes, we talk on OJ. Then at the Court of Appeal judge.
Chief Justice now working.
Or say the signing letter now draw under it for ADAKABRI. I am not responsible for the content. It's ADAKABRI.
E just say to force in ye bibi as wo gina tekpe anammu a. En say ye stricate eye tekpe ekase ne ato force na eka. E wo say ye gitum say waginam e dia mark tekpe dia na ye tekpe.
Absolutely. And senior, later now, Honorable Setekwe Choi, ato force in Choi on behalf of Setekwe, he copied Setekwe.
Clearly, no.
He copied him.
Then quick one on say ato tekpe as a verbal instruction or dema ato force in only written documentation to that effect.
Even as at this time, no, Setekwe has not even come in. Look, Minka Seminchewo, investigator, no. Me na me a cross examination of the investigator. Satano, me senior, now, you know, he's also a lecturer. It means I make the cross examination of the investigator.
On behalf of your senior?
On behalf of my senior. You know, may the document be the trend. That document is Exhibit 5 for A1. Guess what that document is?
Tell us.
A statement that Tekwe volunteered to Yoko.
Oh, so at that level, Yoko level, no, Setekwe had been interested to absolve at all forcing of any blame.
And Setepe stated in his letter that it was the Ministry of Finance that requested for the LC to be established.
Now dear church say would say me case no I'm ranting away but for political reasons now a yanka ubi case privately or the abrewa kabe me case in sir.
Oh, senior. Obama was my representative. I'll give you quality legal representation. Now, let me just read one portion, then you can take me off.
Okay.
It was stated that there can be no inference of guilt unless there are objective facts from which the inference can be made. If the positive facts are lacking in this case, what is left is mere conjecture or speculation. So, effectively, the court recount the facts relied on by the learned counsel with due deference to him are based on conjecture and speculation. The issue of whether the first appellant has authorization to act or not is a matter of fact and cannot be speculated upon. So you see, now listen, first of all, I have no hesitation in dismissing the prosecution contention that the request for the LC was reckless and criminal because it did not receive parliamentary approval. Now listen to the court. The idea of parliamentary approval was never part of the prosecution's case. It never formed part of the particulars set out in the offense for which the first appellant was charged. With respect, it was an afterthought, and I will not place any weight on it. That is how government prosecuted this case. Conjecture, speculation, afterthought. And do you know what he was doing? One part of his case falls. He begins to build another one. In ADAKABRI, we use it feelings on Kasasi. Never again should any Ghanaian, whether a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Christian, MPP, NDC, be subjected to this level of persecution. Never again should this happen. It's shameful. Such a thing, what it does is that it undermines public confidence. You yourself, right, you are shocked hearing some of the testimonies of the prosecution witnesses. You should be careful. This is the only republic I want. Now,
Attorney General, how many years ahead of you?
Oh, I think almost 10.
No, almost 10 of you born in Yamusa. How do you?
Maybe, let's go. Oh, to be
honest, a match such as over no money. Adiana me baby can come in the Yampon.
Mehu a letter and the intelligence. It's serious. And now what chose I can know who judgment here. And you see, if you read the statement by the attorney general, all you see is tantrum, emotions. Nothing. That's paragraph. Or say the office of the attorney general considered the decision of the Court of Appeal grossly unfair to the nation and inimical to the fight against impunity and abuse in public office. In ADAKABRI, is it not curious?
Edwiji, Attorney General Noah, B equals Swansea Dibida, Joe Randolph Dibida. Are you going to Dibida? No, Geoffrey Bing, Bruni, what Dibida? Jo Mia Minia Penny, Mamma Kanwa, Joe got Dibida. Attorney General Abubadi Yamusano.
Papa Ouswan Koma.
Oh, Faswala. And I will be born with Yamusano.
Now, senior, any of these attorney general were born. Listen carefully. Put so low to call an accused person and suggest to an accused person what he should do, to the extent that Senior ADAKABRI, there were etiquette and professional rules that forbids a prosecutor from reaching out to an accused person who is represented unless through his lawyer. On the 9th of April, when Godfred Yebu-Adame told Richie Jakpa, he knew that the lawyer for Richie Jakpa was Tadio Sorry. To listen to the undisputed audio recording, the Attorney General is heard telling Jakpa that I hope nobody is recording me.
Edgy, save some of these comments until after notice of intention to go to the Supreme Court. No,
in fact, I prefer saying it now because you see, if the Attorney General is saying that a decision of the court is inimical to the nation or unfair to the nation, his conduct of reaching out to an accused person, is that what is fair to the nation? Does it not suggest, and you do know, Senior, that an accused person is a vulnerable person? And that is why the rule says that so we need ma only the lawyer and your day in this uncommon because he is better placed.
Edgy, who's a hormone dear, and no crown by ya ma, charge no crown, advice as to what could have been done. So, and or side step advice, no, the mere fancy I say. So, now you say, obey akọ Supreme Court na Supreme Court no nyina so na so di gyina so di akọ no ene na chese sameja mfi kura de chese wodi na tem kura
accept evidence here makan that happen under cross examination. Supreme Court is the Supreme Court going to manufacture and fill in the gap for you?
You leave that to the conscience.
No. Senior. When an Attorney General is driven by hate, when an Attorney General is driven by emotion, I know you to be a very courageous person. I know you to be extremely courageous.
Sad baby, I'm ya na metena ya meka say yenya Godfred Dame no anka na semo a nipa bi yes ye be chema no. At this stage I'll repeat and reiterate. Munya Godfred Dame na on swimming in whatever he has gathered in the bucket.
Senior, what me say? Godfred Yebu-Adame on 25th March at 10:55 p.m. Oko Justice Yoni Kulendi fi. Odu one what say Justice Yoni Kulendi say. Open with Jakpa manu. Ena open. 17 minutes recording. 17 minutes conversation, sorry. That 17 minutes conversation. Who named their girlfriend that can also?
What's he saying?
Emrebeba, you be this uncle.
Emrebeba, you be this uncle, mono. Eduji, Yedwasi pa. Yedwasi. Hey, Eduji. I just say, young man, my money German man. When the men are singing, then you can tell. Eduji. I say me wa hini fa kure nia. Eduji. Eduji. And ninyumuni ni. They ba say ni Eduji. Germany new. What's he saying?
Hello. Kwame, me ya umwao. Me ba penyin no kane no woni made pa. Na so na se boa no obon. Me dwene ho amenti ase.
Na so we dey simple gra. Fanuko White Stone Dental and Eye Care. Na yen checking anima no.
Oh, jai sa mani abrewate. Me ba bona me ka asma chwas me Fanuko Eye Care clinic.
Na wonnim se enkwada bi wo no mo a. Wo de sua enkoyie nyina no efi wani. Akwada bi wo a abra teacher ni kyira de no. Won hu ade ni yi. So wo tie anima na so wo tie akire. Eba ne sa. Fanubra White Stone Dental and Eye Care. Ni enye nhwemu mfa ne ni no. Oho bia entam se wewe ni esia no ama no.
Ayampa o. Na sekro ni yade no eba emonka ye. Wadwe ye o se bibia ye fine. Wo be ko na bibia ka echi na wani sei. Na sekro masate se wono momoja broso na esiche yade no. Aya na momoni yade pa.
Sapepepe. Onipa bia kra no afimu one kwa check up awani ho kra no. Enyem prenu. White Stone Dental and Eye Clinic say fa wo no wabusua nyina. Ebra ni enye hwehwemu emfa mani ene mo se ho oho bia no ye behwe ni asia no e de amamo ye wo abafu mfidie ultra modern diagnostic machines ahodo a ye de ye sa nhwehmu no ye dwuma efo nso de wani wote enti uba ye beje o fel so White Stone Dental and Eye Care e wo East Legon ye be MTN office kese no free wo 024 225 1983 and 024 045 2992 White Stone Dental and Eye Care. When ni ano kania.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you flow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized feel different. Always think specialized. Special Ice Natural Mineral Water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Neat 100.9 FM Suni. Na Wednesday, July 31, 2024. Time just about gone some minutes past 3. In the studios here today, Solomon Owusu of the Movement for Change, Afrafranton, Watinase. Engineer Peter Nkwibu Asiakon of the New Patriotic Party, MPP, on Watinase. Jama Kone of the National Democratic Congress, Eastern Regional Communications Officer, on Osusuya Manakwabo Watinase. Regional Secretary. At the end of the Ukrainian, or only Osamapa. Papa natural yentino.
Okay, them one have to think of who positions.
No natural and you're natural or correcting. Right, engineer and Watinase.
Yo, me just so.
Hey, let's say Unim Jamasasa.
I know, I'm not here. I'm saying, you see, so not just say.
Secondary school and Aqua.
They call Tamale, not back, Massey.
And Yamangwa. Yamangwa.
Say, on say, Jamano. The winner bar, we are so for cry before. We are so for cry.
Spirit.
Yes, your spirit.
Spirit.
Yes, yeah. I want to say, I don't know Nigeria for more. It's through Ghana for pa.
Hey, Jama.
Woman, Nibisa. Nigeria for money, Dimia here.
Woman, Jamani be
Jamani. Ghana one will be the whole of Africa.
Almost agree.
Jama.
Africa.
Because all share. Uko Mamtek,
yes.
At the men.
Yeah,
Nafi wako Conti.
Cat Conti.
And cat.
Cashford is
there. And a cash for some people. And I come off one of.
You go to Atlantic. Almost papa Atlantic. Yeah.
Cashford for mum.
No, but Atlantic for the one.
Atlantic for the Bravo Kojo Yansen. No.
Ah, Kojo Mudi as all mono lata extremist.
Hey, and the Vandas no.
The comments. Mora, say the fella Aboajo no. Aboajo. No want to be that.
The me me yes.
Oh. Jimmy.
Agobi. Me to London and go be me tin some huna wo. Me jana me ba. Amuya so cheerleader no.
That's all we are now for me. I expect a fat.
Jaman so you ensure tari o.
Be gibra na me dey atoso. Na utum se akwa no eno so sa mamteke fo no a. Na akwa tintin bi na che se wo ye tia what is a pencil. And na we dey towro pa. This is in the boy. You talk about universities here in Ghana.
So interesting.
Quite interesting environment. Nini say eduji. Just say akwano lawyer ni atutomo free eye nkwanta etimia bapa just Obabe drew Legoan.
Yeah.
Or just a Jessie Koji loan and son what me as I go back to Quanta. It was about in the garden in the BB on Sanko and I just energy.
I make a
Quanta from Quanta North.
22,000
Sure. What the air conditioned legal offices that were East Legon. So you can imagine.
I don't know a car man say.
He's got an interesting character. But he's a young man. Utimi say o pejamu papa.
Oh yeah, dear.
On the same scale as Mafu Minuai. Nimako Mafu
Gary.
About was Gary no bourgeois kakra.
Level.
Every no chess obekwa. No near me for hard castle mono Harry Marietta Brew. Just what so bunu mutita wo machi ho sa. Ogoye case be ma member of parliament for Jomoro. Na eduji no pa.
Na one ka be
I come and see what the Lord has done. My dear Papa. Quite an interesting thing to say. He allows him.
No.
And he didn't hear cracking for.
So Otiasia.
Now, Obiba can say Godfrey, that may your boy wounded beyond redemption. Anna, engineer. Attorney General wounded beyond redemption. Anna.
I got to be fair to. Maybe back to Jamawa. And to Jamaica, Seria.
I said, would you host the host?
Jama, Attorney General Godfrey Dami Yabua wounded beyond redemption. Anna.
Offer Medasi. Dedicano, Mammy, and Chia, what here for no here for.
Incidentally, so no.
Yeah.
Godfrey Dami Yabua so media semos crowd and in your crack.
And so you're careful. Because we be on one HQ media and a banning change. Open house and Chiba. Offer Dedicano say, many Godfrey Damia. And committee of foot to say, you see, Penifosu Mia was some more, you boom. Na Tama or High Court, I believe, say, leather judge no etunofo about the case. Tinesen could take his foot from there. Already seen ra any or they say statement on the Bible here. But no statement, no. A question now be some no. Be affirm or question no. Say he's wounded. And sir disgrace
beyond redemption now.
Beyond redemption, because beyond redemption after ABI our court a Supreme Court as a cojenim guasie. what they are be beyond redemption because say o share follow case na to be frank with you sometimes I want to say on one kasa say political witch hunting I believe say so you'll be like a team nanasi which I believe say otiasie and system could follow case this because of a when you civil case where a criminal case of a criminal case there say you who could say a being ketua bi won a elusu credibility.
I just say what create a doubt to be doubt
ketua because about prison and when you and what ya mo ya sika ni panic prison it is a judges no doubt ketua bi a obelusu case no and who follow case na consider a whole lot to the extent say wa ko share another Supreme Court judge ama ya friend one of the accused only na trust only accused na I have a conversation ama the saying recording of it ababontin and no kra no obi a won see law school da kra no it created that doubt on the team how much a learned judge and I believe say and America say senko obi a otie futu a enkenra sa we no the babontin no then hu hia I be an officer of damage control to create that kind of conversation.
Only serve notice. Say obeko of a court of a Supreme Court.
Of I believe say one here because say oko I will be very surprised. Say Supreme Court judges ever share 125 page a judgment na enra
2-1 no
125. We say yeah 2-1.
2-1.
But for
2-1 they say bakan say conclusive no.
3.
2-1. Nipa 2 asi ade ne yema ne nko nipa 1 so there be eti ankoya 3 ni nyina
ofa so read or they say judgment na 125 pages who read there is no doubt say a Supreme Court attorney general be say lusu case
the 5 judges ekotena so at the Supreme Court level
yeah I'll be very surprised say emu 3 ebe hodi appeal they say appeal from attorney general because we share the even intention behind the contract now criminal cases beyond you menstrual that is the intention there is no intention of any of the accused so on person or they say loss and that's on person to the extent say even the big C at Dubai Obukrat main company, mother company, no. Agree say Sabufi say Bibia Kosua, we are ready to pay 3.2 million euros, which Godfrey Dame and the MPP government disagreed.
2.3 rather than 3.2 now.
3.2, yeah, 3.2.
2.3.
Is it 2.3 or 2.2?
No, they offered $2 million. 2 million euro.
But the case in here 2.37.
Yes, 2.37. Yeah.
Okay, and that's the way you say aboye you, and for now one they cause financial loss to the state, and I believe say go for dame uridi enotie and some a course along conclude say a witch hunting and after me the news and echo abontin say almost per se ye call by election or they say no atu forcing ho
enya
esiam
bibi ba isa na enya esiam adwumako yes ombese ye ko ho no bunya numbers and I believe say God for that me betia futua offer and says what was ko that because has there been any or they say lost to the state?
Net substance of the case na would ye nyina ko wie say dia akoso ne ehom propro wa no ye kushia we wa ha no say to dika bibi say a accused person is vulnerable so no nti wo no at your level no na vulnerable person dia na akoka kire no ye gina honom na Solomon Ususu so emre bi attorney general no at this stage antics optics thematics no.
All right,
antics, optics, thematics. Wọ́n ní maame. Maame no ọ̀ṣà àbàṣẹ bọ̀nì kò fi tẹ́lẹ̀ maame. Ọ̀sì tẹ̀tùmátìs. Na Attorney General at this stage, we share a young community damage beyond redemption.
Of a mammy finding ending guy fanchim wedding free oral and chamanti my tea for Menocase or Bono region. Sunyan and Techima, who say papa. Etosu be a mechacho, and you ma
Alan, dear, warrior, engineer, no, I bet candy yanka.
Oh, me person worker, and I engineer by. Yeah, well, outstanding issues because you're teaching free more. Now you're betting in every once and you're free.
Okay.
And don't you know? And no, and she may catch us and you ma wo bono.
Murano.
London cohe.
Sir?
Covibo a oboku menu. I'm making in the squad. No more sending messages. One must say, Yala Katanga, near dear. To also to see a London go for beer. Radia, Meranzi, so Madina. Yata, boss, anyway. Come and say. Come and see what the Lord has done. Come and see what the Lord has done. Of about to go.
Katangi.
Yes.
Then Onana.
No.
A good baby there. A fair row. And your cow baby. Ni papa Roman ni one pen one sem. I couldn't tell Mr. Samuel Joseph Bidia Comensa. I know I say connect. I just got Brendan Tetty baby of Fredo. Uncle Faba, Obi and Yachiro. Was a scrabble, no, Baba, one more scrabble.
Oh, no,
Hello,
Yandra. Membama was up. The woman is offer Areho as a film, Goffredame, a woman, and was whichever way you look at it, yeah. Case here that way. Ubi our international business, be a women international trade, be a young criticism. Yes, Bonnie Corso. Ambulance ya de buy and yet adia let's say fata say ambulance. Na mum nipa o se bonu kwadu no enye omo no de kwadu bo. Essence na or your political persecution. Because of adia fell letter of credit. Adia did a letter of credit buy. In fact, trimu ponti ma letter of credit e buy na hunti no mo court. Say enkane no. VIP for person motor bus e free you turn for China. Was it for 10,000 series, bra? VIP for some open red bars, 30-seater, leather seating, and so on and so forth. Specification, no. What the amount you turn, or terms you turn for no, or mobile, no, the white bars, and yellow leather bars, a seat, and just a young customizing as specified. Exactly. And it's now Sikako could do obey any day. It's not a say international trade. And I'm international chamber of commerce. A dear for letter of credit. Now, I am governed by law. Buyer, seller, intermediary, that is the bank. And just one a buyer, a ministry of health. One a seller, a big C. And it is the nipa obey me at from so that transaction we want. A the buyer, which is the ministry of health. Now, letter of creditor, or the koji or the guarantee a buyer, no. A site, na site and so no, there be an okwakoye inspection. No one say adia na me no kan ye aye who says and purchase agreement no aye dia else no eno na ye de mami ukwo na senya no a ye obi bi e friend discrepancy o instructor bag say mentua enya adia me kan ye no ane ye de mami tua bi anim eni ti say ekoba say ye tua sika bi a e de instruction na Ministry of Health e de ma the Bank of Ghana emo mutiaye na se akoba de sane hu se mfomso aba na ye prosecute a enya Ministry of Health na we prosecute omo ye den na ye kokko discharge anemina
for health reasons
I don't know what case ni nyina mu because the main culprit no at worst na nka to force ne japa be ye prosecution witness na mom the real culprit no what John is a health reason dia na asem for na asem go to baby. Look, as far back as 2009, Anna Professor Mills, Ekokano Parliament, Sagana here, a friend say ambulances. Now 2011, Anna Cabinet Emma approval. By December or 1st of November 2012, no, not Parliament approve. Parliament approve here, and based on that, Anna Ministry of Health, and the co PPA Koji so sourcing. After that, and omoya agreement on the 19th of December 2012. Now in the agreement no almost say no almost say within 120 days I was a big C to me supply first 25 ambulances. O calculate 120 days from the 19th of December 2012 now. It means by the 19th of April 2013 now I say 25 ambulances wa. Aban nan ka say bu agreement or yeah so. And it took a time where you establish LC now. Now what could do 2014? And then more with America because that time that big C4 actually come out buying say, "O man say yeah, don't be court or judgment debt." And indeed they would have gotten the judgment debt if they are gone because me etia say so beto ade o me ho. Na Mr. Best tia ye preparation ti be boka. E ti be kwa menya misika. Ene ma ban no eye se okwakoye obeye LC. Na wa ye LC na se wo se enyoma na wo kra nya no a Ministry of Health adia also nka wo ya ne se wo ka se enyoma me kra ye na e wo LC ni mu no enya no a pamro twa no ida so obechenyi no enye san so ye ntua na akom ya kotua wie na ne ye tia no wan ye kwa prosecute obi a no no or request say yenye LC of even on the score say almost request and instructed no it does not mean anything. Pia misika da bank I will instruct Bank of Ghana satam omam yati say a bank of board besia 15.8 million euro anameboa from Stanbic Bank and no mo de kwakoto sa ambulances and ti sananka even at to force e ka say we instruct Bank of Ghana there was nothing wrong with it. If it's a misika da ho ana wo ye LC against it and it LC we na confirm no confirm because he can go na ya ye we wi a na in the course of this ye nya attorney general what me use case we e de agu no ho anim ase hwe tape by emunsem say attorney general of fixing matches me hu ye na matches ye fix na is the court ye fix na how the benya gidi o legal system nim ya kaka ya obeka asem papa kire wo say e de righteous will always prevail over evil asem o ka kire no e kire me feel say nko be to akoso afenyamesom ni mu a na nka ye de akowie na yasa de pemwa immediately also we dey wati kwa pa we go Supreme Court mo nko so en waste the time of the people. Once I went to me and for the NC one we di bone no so no na che se onye na dwere se obaji esika udi asem yes willfully causing financial loss to the state and misapplication of state property na se yamia ya dum na se omo a mo de kwa adua bo omo Oma ye offer say ombetua 2 million euro offer ye Jessica maneko. Who does that?
I think I would just and doesn't absorb the person from prosecution.
No, but the point is that they will play plea bargaining. What
the would just scan and trace any panel won't be prosecuted.
Say in the plea bargaining you can drop the in any case ni put forward was say said the first bemu because monoma me inspection me mamu 2 million me ba be sesa me your friend say me ambulance any accessories no mo mfa me na for the me tete ne say accessories no go bi akoton accessories na di
ye hunu
o ma to di accessory e wo 9 accessories e wo 9 magwago hu accessories ye di na go for say mo mfa mra na mo medi mu 2 million euro a sata mo kasa ye hieska render unit e your friend say kolebu go for dialysis yenyeska wanye sensie ya discharge na akweti omu sa 2 million euro no eva ne kwakunya no enti between wo a wo se wo de wo gya ya na mu akon amaye a waboa me ahwere sa sika yi obi ni sika ba wanye ene obi a wono no asem ne nhyeda mfa na hokora no wan akọ so financial loss to the state go fedame and I was thinking say can no pa be da sorry no atro a beautiful long letter say minimum dinkra Mr. Mumanyani, every year at his age or more years ahead of him. But because of that case where any say a do you never what shama case where good and mass. I finish it off that it was so difficult for him to come out of this. A son say, if we ask no, say one ma peri and Yajuma, oh yeah, attorney general. It's all about you, me versus you. Who represent you or mine? And you won't go say, hey, me, I'm interested in say, what they are to force to prison that they be a mere sabo come here, man, and Vasobe, no, so. So, Koda prison, that you're born hooker, and on Vasobe, Parliament, no, and it's a year. Now when the money yes a Ghana for almost Ghana 40 years yes your politics no are too divisive. And they say you do me I do me. Say nyame amemnam koto abama ndisi for year. Almost I said a ambulance case back we so almost over 200. Say nyame amma ala na ma no amfa fane afa nyina ma me bom. Na ya build on mine on a united basis that
visual cycle no
twaso
okay you be call Techiman any sunyan na ya find it what's happening afrafranto engineer attorney general Godfrey Dame Yeboah antics ne normal cosway optics gomions is it damage beyond the redemption?
No. ADAKABRI Michel, lawyer, na Michel wa telephone so. Asama aba ye chino sre ene abasano. Ghana for munyekom na NPP a ye de tumi ama won panifo di animo no obia wa adwen papa a odi hwese enema batutu yie. Na asama yenra Godfrey Dame can say the decision or the judgment by the appeal court is inimical to the fight against corruption. Our Ghana Hano. Menino yajin 100%. In fact, a judgment na appeal court ayeno. Enya dia emwa Ghana na enye crack. San say me wo gidie pan say case now they call court, call appeal court no. Say ebepum enei any what we know about the proceedings so high court no. Since Jakpa any ato open defense. Say enei and asem we copy appeal court enim na enye say kachen say open the case defense okase wonya na and this judgment will not come. No appeal court judge will pass a judgment and let these guys go. Say, near Oma Yeni no Omonko. San say, since a high court judge, I can say they have a case to answer. The Attorney General has indeed demonstrated, say, there's a prima facie case against you. So defend yourself.
On the face of
and near my idea, since I almost as some defend Omono. ADAKABRI minu mienu nyina ye hu ni akoso say sika ye kan ho asema eye 2.3 million na ye kan ho asem dollars o euros yes euros emu over 700,000 emu over 700,000 was paid to one person one year juma bia o Jakpa eye onu nko ase onu ne eye engineering and a kofa company ni bae no onu nko ajimu 700,000 euros out of the 2.3 not just say ambulance na ekoto bae no ni bua nkasa we no insurance na wa nyina no sa 1.5 million aka no yenya NTF mo na just say o twetwe mu pa na just say ambulance na mokoto bae no ni bua kra no enu 600,000 euros because after na ombeti tini nyina free mu na one person Jakpa alone for being the leader ono na kofa company ni bae no he was paid over 700,000 out of this. This is very serious. Now on say you see Attorney General na juma oye no one of the most difficult jobs because Saudi criminal case say ekokotwa you have to prove beyond all reasonable doubt any little ayibi ebaba mu bia no raise issues for the judgment to go against you anunti say enei na appeal court for no pass judgment based on the yedi asem na bedru ya they will never has passed this judgment almost omonko no but I support him say onko Supreme Court but when he go to Supreme Court omonko start case no from babia omadi asem no also me no ni defense ebapum ni no okwa adisu all the evidence to the Supreme Court na ya the same judgment no be
okay
so that's it na mami ka semicho
mentio rasio
ADAKABRI mami ka semicho
man kan di o kan de wan
ADAKABRI mami ka semicho
engineer mentio
Sure. Sir, Attorney General, you can answer me. He, in our fourth republic, he has been the best Attorney General ever in the history of Ghana. The Bar Republic. Sure. For the past 7 years, I'll buy Attorney General. Uncle, I'll buy for 7 years, my. First night, lady in the I don't know.
Gloria.
Within 4 years, within 4 years, what in save over 10 trillion Ghana cedis. A judgment debtor. And Crawford Ghana buying court. Unlike NDC for time one. All man casampo no one no more solicitors say. And Crawford almost free say almost a year human being a buying or moon far buying court. Obitsa Okujato and in Crawford, they were soliciting for people to take the government to court so that they could get judgment debt. This man said no, there would not be any judgment debt paid to anybody. What means save Ghana over 10 trillion Ghana cedis in the coffers and can be free Ghana Bamu Edema and Crawford. Now, sir, Papaya, you can watch me. You see, and this is for and then home here, who can say, no, as some way I did. Omo can say there has been a mistrial. Anunti, Omun Chasim Judge, Omo Ghana High Court, I can say, Mubwa, this is not a mistrial. And this is for the Ghana for judges at some say Ghana ha judge bien who papa, especially Supreme Court. John Mama Crabbe can say, and this eba Sanya Nana Kufuado apaki a judges Aqua High Court and the Supreme Court and the P Court on also pass on bay because judges in Yaya and this for and nay a comma omodi on say and the omu prezi judges of Ghana. That is the hypocrisy on the side of NDC. But me, I support Odami. So uncle baby could do in this case, Dami of Goffredon, uncle could do because this young to me a lot because Omonia Bonia and Kong Cassa Bonina, Sikani Via and Yediba. Company in a web Britannia, Omode, ambulance in the buyer, Omo SC, a cost more than 2.3 million euros, no. Omo Elfris Omonia Bonia and Common Cassa Omo between 2 million. I'm a Ghana buying. They have all committed the crime. But you see, Sir Bonnie way, and been on this for you. What's about the crime now? A court of appeal no having seen it yet. Now, said a judgment and they can answer me. So now, once a same way, and this for and not now say about Bamu from it was very difficult for Nana Gufado to jail them because what they do is say, Chronombo in they managed to cover themselves with documents. Why? What the contract amount? Contract now 100 million. No, I can't just okay. Prepare the first budget. Will first cost no fabra 100 million. So I prepare another one. Then 250 million. Now, Oba, Sikano Ebetiaka 250 million at amount. Name Sika. Wo. A chasa wo unyano 100 million. That is what Andy. So Oba na document that. And be seen a muntiminchi or more. I don't know the baby. I don't know court. And I know I must love mammy or the court or you go to in few months saying. And I Senator for boss see only because no boy. And I'm telling you, say this case, I see it say and you can say you blame anybody in this matter. But me, I think the appeals court judgment is so inimical to the fight. And Godfrey is 100% right. And I support him say on Concord Supreme Court because this matter cannot be allowed to go. And this is for a year bonnet, another beer, or a cover or with technicalities. Now, almost this cannot a janeko. Okay.
Offer.
Oh,
Baby.
Move on.
Oh, that is what raising issue be. I said, Yamagana for issue be to say, yeah, time. Now, yeah, judgment debt, Eddie. Or more specifically, lesbian. Only lesbian. Why you music of an say 51 million Ghana cedis. Maybe 51 million Ghana cedis. Offer between 2022, and before 2 year judgment then 300 million Ghana cedis. 300 million Ghana cedis. No. You 2 billion. It's coming a billion.
Judgment that I send you. That's some judgment I send you.
So make you service.
We are talking about
judgment ben genuine. What you have 300 million Ghana cedis on judgment debt.
The 10 trillion. Attorney General has
10 trillion. between 2019 by mid 2019 number to almost 280 million Ghana cedis.
That is what I'm saying. That
Meba. Say see how many say Meba. Say see how many say offer. Almost $10 million come Akufo-Addo Duba. So I'm going to spare pass.
I don't know criminal offense.
Criminal.
Why money?
President Ba. In the history of this country, offer in the history. I know the oil in Nigeria. I know the oil in Nigeria. Why are we there? Why are we there? No Adango. Why are we there? No Adango. Offer from why are we there? No Adango. Why
you don't do anywhere?
Akufo-Addo by then or them. Offer. They should say offer $10 million.
Why na Nigeria na why na Adango?
Now couldn't the business ever.
Akufo-Addo Ba. In the history of this country, President Ben Abba, what he mean for Sasika put away? Amaneba. A huge topic. President Ben Abba Ghana, what he mean Amaneba? Imagine say President Mahama and in Kaneba Kunya 10,000 Ghana cedis contract and Ghana will break loose.
What is wrong with that?
I'm telling you.
What is wrong with that?
For president's daughter, for her to get a contract of $34 million. Number two, over 20 billion. President side contract. President side contract.
What's an agreement now?
But because of decency, there's no runabout. All right. For them, Ghana for who say Akufo-Addo attempt $34.9 million. Amaneba. So Uncle to spare pass. Ghana mine. So Uncle to ambulance spare pass. Any ambulance spare pass. Amaya to $10 million.
It's not true.
Converted 10 million. Converted 10 million. Near say anyone you miss say. Why you miss there 15 million Ghana cedis. Mukobo honyum. Eye hu dede. Because of electronic propaganda. Okay. 10 million out of 17 million voter registered now. Aged between 18 and 35.
Yes.
The youth are more than any of the groups. The youth, women, Akans, Christians. Today, let's talk about the youth. Who best stands to amplify young voices? Dr. Mahama, Dr. Baumia, Alan Shamatin. Solomon Usu. Why can't share that? Who said so? Who said so? Who said cheddar? Who said so? Who said so? Who said so? Cheddar Bugatti no. Cheddar Bugatti no use on. I can't. Who best represent or amplified young voices?
Of the only say so far me who policy NDC and MPP dia ba na betimi agina so account
they policy memory.
And until me nka.
No, who best amplifies young voices?
Alan, the woman say Alan Cotti movement for change. Then this wadi huna ni mebu so no be adwuma. Of a mebu aye kan yes ye kan no fafo. Adwuma dia ye die nyina ene ukọbụrụ regional ala ho a emebunu ya na de neko ba bia be fa bia 18 to 35 ya na di papa ya ni mu a ɔmo sɔ ne nsa sɛ ɔmo na de ne bɛba amana bɛdi ɔman n'anim na ɔfa ne nyinaa ne sɛ ɛmɛbu no ɔmo ha ne sɛ ɛyɛ adwuma sɛm yɛfɛ akyire ha yi a abelempa Canadian embassy a baabi a ɔmo gye visa yi kɔhwɛ sɛ ɔmo abɔ apɛ so esi akora deɛ nya ɔmo ɛbɔ akɔ deɛ yɛde nwom gye ɔn taataa okɔ America embassy a ɛmɛbu no ya na abɔ apɛ so okɔ UK the same thing ɔmo ha nyinaa ne sɛ adwuma ani hɔ na ansa na wobɛtumi akreti adwuma no na ɔwɔ plan ɛno na ɔwura lankyɛmanten wɔde GDP no ato sɛ pɛfii deɛ ɛwɔ mu nyinaa ne sɛ wɔantumi ansosɔ ɔman no economy no a yɛfrɛ no sɛ the macroeconomic environment no wansosɔ nneɔma no ama no ambrɛ ase a wontumi nkreti nnwuma ɛno nti ɔwura lankyɛmanten ɛɛka kyerɛ Ghanafoɔ nyinaa sɛ ɔno wɔba a ɛnɛ policy rate a ɛnam 29% a ɛtwa mene a commercial banks ɛma loan at 40-50% no wɔno no bɛyɛ ama no abasan yɛ digit na ama private sector no ade bia yɛde hɔhɔ ɛho sɛ the engine of growth no ɛtumi akɔ akɔbɔ besia ɛde ebie wɔn industries ma mmabuni aba benya bia ayɛ ebie wɔ so ɔba a saa currency na depreciate by heart a yɛnhu baabi na se no ɔbɛhwɛ ama no akɔ yie ɛsiane sɛ wɔno ɔba no ɔba bɛ diversify economy no koko ne gold a yɛde ɛho ato so mfie betepeepie a ɛmmoa yɛ no yɛde nneɛma bebree ba bɛka ho yɛba yɛde abɛ ɛba bɛka ho yɛde nkyene ɛba bɛka ho yɛde ntoma ntaadesɛm ɛba bɛka ho yɛde automobile no a wɔ start yɛ no yɛba bɛbaa mu petrochemical yɛde ahyɛ mu pharmaceutical West Africa nkwafi bia no nnura yɛ kra nkwa yɛ almost $600 million ade nti wɔsɛ tra Ghana na yɛwɔ all the infrastructure yɛbɛtumi ayɛ ma nnuro na ba
70% of nnura yɛnom de se ho yare wɔ Ghana ha no yɛkra ne yɛde aba
which is about $600 million
ɔman a wokra nnura yɛbɛnom adi atwehwe apo modern no 70% no ne yɛgyina brɛ no ne sɛ
ɛno kora yɛ national security threat ɛnti sɛ baabi a yɛgye nnuro no ɛda ɔma adwene bɛsesa sɛ ɔmo mmerɛ yɛ nnuro no sɛ ɛneɛ nyina bɛwu ha ɛnyɛ ma ɔman no ɛno na ɔwura alankyerɛmante ka sɛ ɔba yɛ a pharmaceutical sɛ wɔha nyina ɔboa mmea baa mu sɛneɛ ɛbɛyɛ nnuro a ɔman no hia no yɛyɛ ne nyinaa wɔ ha no ebio petrochemical industry yɛtu ɔyɛ wɔ kurom ha ɛne yɛ export no raw wɔsi ɔba bɛyɛ petrochemical industry out of that petrochemical industry no ɛnom ne yɛnya plastic ɛnom ne yɛtumi nya fertilizer yɛnya fertilizer deɛ ne yɛyɛ ɛma yɛkua nkɔ so ɛno nti now you are killing two birds with a stone ebio wɔsi yɛ raw nneɛma no sɛ manganese ne yɛtu ne yɛde akɔ Ukraine raw bauxite ne yɛtu ne yɛde akɔ Ukraine raw yɛfrɛ ne sɛ iron ne yɛtu de kɔ raw no ɛsu betwa ɔba anya bie kura alanse manya bie kura mo de Ghana manya bie kura no 60% of our raw materials they be processed okromwa na ya combine manganese iron and bauxite near there is steel and no more that they call shed the automobile industry no more can na say be ya cars no ya message na waka kan yimum ye be produce and the pass nyina e wo ha no ama Ghana di government ya ko Vietnam about 35 billion in yawo adenti na ntumi nye 2 years anyuma we nyina na we ni esikua so a wo sa ka kire se wo ba no kua ba ba ye akono ama mbrante ne maba wo no aye kua ama mu aba wo ye we anya maburu no
ma wunia emra mu biye jama
over
of the NDC also bra mu biye movement for change for akasa jama of the National Democratic Congress say who best represent or who best amplify the young voices John Dramani Mahama, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, Alan Kojuchira Matini, and the muted voice from behind Bukati Inti.
Offer. And the best is President Mahama. You see, Obama the name Ehuapaso. And I believe say Yamfa indicators any statistics cry and Yajumaha. In 2016, you can't a youth and I say you can't unemployment. A youth no basically and I say mostly or more that bracket. And in 2016, now unemployment rate is 5.6%. Of an MNO say unemployment rate is 14%. And they say, what we far or they say, or minor 8 years, we did 8 years. No pushy unemployment. I could do 14.7%. Emra ube fano 5.6%. I don't think say Ghana for mrantie ebenya sajidi omu asade or they say amamono asam watwaso. Offer utie President Mahama any NDC policies any programs are yade gu akwam e ama youth ema ya create a lot of employment any or they say ya reduce unemployment rate no my idea could do 14.7%. No, ebi ni say your youth entrepreneurships this schemes ya de ba bonti emrante ne mabawa ntimi ento schools no ye betimi abo o maso o masen ama o matimi ade asu adwuma usu adwuma no na aban no ma o stipends adase ye ma allowance kakra a wo de behwe oho agosi emra wo be dey wo de be pon oho. Apart from that no sika wo de kosu adwuma no any machines any tools wo de kosu adwuma no ade say NDC aban ene president Mahama ebe so wasen ama otimi anya sa tools no ene equipment no de akosu adwuma wo wie adwuma no aptai say wo ko adwuma ni na ye ma stipends no wo wie adwuma no o container ana store obebie enema wo de be ye adwuma ene oho pon abepon no ya ban na sede say ye betimi atua oho ama pon ho de asan ma o de say efidi dwuma na wo de akobie wadwuma ama watimi ayede astati wadwuma o de no to nchen a ma omo ye youth omo be go through or de say this system no President Mahama say yes I be women's bank as our bank no ebe ma opportunity as a lady as a woman no watimi awura or de say bank wo no watimi akọ access interest free loan na watimi dey ayede I empower wadwuma any what de say we trade na wo ye sa hihye we hihye I believe say MPP for there's no single policy geared towards the youth apart from the sale of 1 Ghana 2 cedis phone. About me as say auton or tiptoe lane. Apart from no omuni strategic
Vice President Eton phones.
Oh, okon ha waji table. They say about me table or tiptoe lane. 1 cedi phone, 2 cedis phone.
E just all rely on tilapia.
Me rely on tilapia. E onu anu musam and tilapia dey a project. Now for obia why economic management team chairperson for the past 8 years. Now for policy bra ensesa emrante ne mabawa brabo. What me raise or they say unemployment could do 14.7%. Now be my policy a betimi ama emrante ne mabawa ho atom a phone. Se see anti the panacea to unemployment rate and emrante enya dwuma a phone aye beton. And this is that be ye de ye wo hihye ya ye de gu form a bosso awa.
Jama Kone of the National Democratic Congress Eastern Regional Secretary. And we are just about asking Dr. Muhammad Baumia, Alan Kojoche Martin, John Dramani Mahama, who best amplifies young voices. Engineer Peter Mkibu Siakon of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and Obekase. Engineer Kasa.
ADAKABRI me that's be brave.
Obia so kasa no one kebi. The mesrabo ground rules no say moma nya unfettered
obowa yes you be boy.
When I do me I do you.
You be boy.
Moma nya unfettered 3-4 minutes. Na be bia ya obia 1 minute 1 minute. Na mo dey around it up. Engineer Kasa.
Na
Olivier can do that man Kasa.
I say do election times here. Na nkofo etugum kontumpo ne nkofo twa se ne adwo mama kan no. Na Monday na metie yenra ohene into e wo peace na asama all kind say abawi eye NPP aban ni kwan say the man akwanya bio esan say for the past 4 years ni over 60 companies and almost free Ghana ha eko move their operations from Ghana to elsewhere. And then the bina yenua ya or Kasama Alan abeto high can say in right issue of Ghana ha over 70% and I import. I'm not denying. Meanwhile,
unfettered 3-4 minutes.
Meanwhile, the person that he's speaking for has been the longest serving trade and industry minister in the country.
When you're mic ni yentini
in the last year, Alan has been the longest serving trade and industry minister in the country. And yet, those speaking for him, I see, in the last 4 years, over 60 companies and move from Ghana to elsewhere. So when he was the minister, when he was the minister, And so what did he do wrong for them to leave this country? Again, as a trade and industry minister, pharmaceutical companies that just produce in Ghana, one and when you know, say on the other say, you produce more in row, and Madame Mammy Rodling. Was it on our pressure? Also, pressure. And I think he produces no pressure. And then Alan, almost because I'm on more pressure, or more pressure. On which about 1 minute, pharmaceutical companies that me produce pressure drew a moment manumbi. It be no better how. You see, hold on, can you please? You see, the trouble is, John Mahama, under him, we suffered 3, 4, 5 years doom so in Ghana. That is the time we had the largest unemployment in the country. Industry is a good year. Oh, please. Industry is a good year. Ghana. Nipa a woo hospital. Under him, and a unemployed graduate association. Ghana. NPP by yes, look, we need to solve this problem. Right. They created NAPCO. 100,000 Nipa Komono. Over 70% and a nay omina are recruited. But Umyankwa net me demonstrate say Onyakwanja no be president. He is going to transform Ghana through the youth, over training over 1 million youth through information technology.
Okay.
Now, almost to me at the digital jobs. I don't think there can be a youth. It just some money to Swa. Can you know, well, you know, student loan, so student loan. But say, sa guarantors na yen e ma omunya ye yefi ho ma onya o ono na ege youth no ono no say e kwan ye befa so a enkoda omo ko school a omo tia even lorry fare you know ade e ma ne ye din pa ne say ade e ma ne ye din pa ne say once again ha na yusufu a na mum say yetumi boa ne nya electronic transportations Ghana transport Ghana ha electric cars Ghana ha oh and no be boa ama ye stop the reliance on fuel ama abuono transport. Okay. This is the person who thinks about the youth.
Right.
Now, who the mama baby?
Final comments.
Alan, as a trade minister, Onona, Etumima or my more factories than any minister of trade. Ebio, Napkona, Okoboso, and Unquire spending 2.2 billion in Quadani Negufi, our Rabomia, or this kind of do. One of the areas that national security be also shown me say, I was say, yeah, audit whether or not, sir, any part 100,000 and no more cast on we more napkuno. Now, Penny and pass on we more napqua. Because our information say, no, my party, the pabber 3,000, no, my first 97,000 national mutum, and no see him. Rabba, me a sata more, a benya walk on was upset. I was like, Ralan Chamatidis Kakosha for Machicamo. Oh, here's a canodia a back 1 district 1 factory. No, yeah, man, only 400 million Ghana cities. Near time 2.2 billion, say, or Rabbo, Mianco Chamanco for what the 400 million Quaco factories are. And say now, you see, I'm a more for time I need to cry you flip that back to him. And it's all about the Cassan we are, not what can want them a year. Again, oh, your friend is saying, or him to some more kind. It has got nothing to do with Alan. And the cost of doing business with Kuman was so high. I bet one day in charge of fiscal policy, a finance minister, one day in charge of your friend is a monetary policy, a governor of Bank of Ghana. We interest rate now 40% better than business at Kuma. And the Alan we exchange rate, get beer, a woman of what to say, a Alan Aguma. And it's Mamma Uncle Prana, Baumiadia, Wabe Kuma Sano, was Sano when is a German form.
Right.
This of a form.
And the movement for change, Solomon Usu, and Oten. Finally, Jama Kone of the National Democratic Congress.
No. Many an economic fee center be disputed the fact that on the far unemployment rate from 5.6%, and they could do 14%. When Timian can was statistics. Are you disputing your own? Are you disputing your own facts? Oh, they are not on chair offer. I can say even growth rates. You see how many can say growth rates and 2.7%. Uber the whole Africa country you grow or they say less. You also 10. The whole Africa you also 10. Now, Udi as Amamo is Akoma president or they say vice president Baumia. I didn't know baby. When Timian come major policy you. students loan na aka ho asem you starting students loan some nkroma time o and now na be ka say guarantee I don't know be my oman yan ho ya
okay
o de no to nchen offer electronic or say cars na be ma unemployment and as microphone adwuma ye MPP phone ni message o
okay
omo ka so
na
me
more message
light no go you be use residential what do you
mean light no go mo ma dum so ezi o ma dum so also be electronic and ma Ghana anya dum ya na you friend na wato
kukua abɔne nsɛm ama ɔbɔne nsɛm papapa na ɔbɔne kukum papapa ɔde ama solo
kukua ya fa jama ni shema bi jama kabese
lawyer me 1 minute no mama
ada wa ka dawie
ajo wa minute
me 1 minute no mama
baka engineering defect o go kwase
aban bia ni hɔ in the last ye ba Fourth Republic within 8 years what me ama employment pa esne NPP aban upon all the difficulties this government has gone through. In fact, more than 2.2 million people have... Oh, no, the records are there. Please. 1 minute.
No, for my source.
Ghana, this year will be a source.
What's a source? I'm a source. Document. Who can read your parliament?
The same document. The same document.